Amazing. Rocky, want to see you.
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
Sunset shield days so long gone, can't bring them back, no magic wand. Counting white cotton clouds, painted on the blue sky's shroud. And yet somehow that way it's baked with eternal hopeful flair. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be a free days of you and me. I'm
sailing! I'm sailing!
I just can't wait for free days of you and me.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and even the U.S. government.
But soon they'll wake up to see the summer sizzle in me.
We're doomed. Will this never end?
Direwolf's back and so are you.
Oh yeah,
Belvedere flying so the moon.
oh yeah.
And everyone's singing just the right tune. Maestro blasting on the jazz flute.
We are all participating in mandatory fun activities.
Jelly bean bonus, every flavor in the bag. Super movie star, but first gotta join SAG.
Keep our eyes open.
Wunderkind, super friend, where are you? Get a search warrant for the near clear blue.
It's scooping time.
And can't you believe that? We've been waiting on you, can't you see that? Put away the bad things they said to you.
You are a sad, strange little man. Have my
After all, just have to call and say you're some kind of
Because you are the special.
epic. Epic, yeah, that's what you do. I'm talking about epic, it's all you know how to do.
You wake up with
Epic, it's on repeat for you. Oh, epic. Epic.
Hear ye, come on, to the never stopping daily strife, and it's called simpler times, they beckon so, floating on the water with no foam. Can we get away now, find a way now, somehow step out of this stream into a dream of slow it down. Jay says that he remembers a place before the never, ever river severed our tranquility. Counting cars by Highway 30, sitting in the porch swing, guessing colors so poorly. Yeah. Is the next one a blue or red one? Maybe silver, maybe gray. What a way to spend a day.
Ladies and
and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Hello, folks, and welcome back to your happy place on a Monday. Lauren Connor is with us, and Lauren, some people say that Mondays are the blues because the work week is back, but we've got one already down. I think most people out there have put 1 out of 5 in the bucket, and they're ready to go. We're ready to go. Lauren, are you ready to go, sir? With another extravaganza into explaining entertainment.
Absolutely. We are 20% of the way through the week.
Way to go, folks. You did that.
Well, it's Monday. We're back again.
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
And Lauren, we have a show tonight, unlike any other show we've ever done before. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it somewhat. You've seen the topics, and we are going places that, well, it's exciting, folks. I feel like we're at the front of the USS Enterprise or something based on what we're covering. And people out there are saying, "Pro, you got to cover the booze. You got to cover not the booze at Disney, the drink, no, not that. The booze at the NBA Finals of President Trump being there." Lauren, do you see the clips of that?
No, but you were telling me a bit about it before we went live, so I am aware that they happened.
Yeah, well, folks, we're watching right now, okay? We're always watching. Always watching, Mike Wiskowski. We're watching right now for celebrity reactions. It'll probably be the topic tomorrow, but, we're not a sports channel. Not a political channel, but I promise you, if there's anything I know about celebrities, Lauren, if there's anything I know about Rosie O'Donnell, about Mark Ruffalo, the Gruffalo, and so many more, Mark Hamill, they're going to say something tonight, and we're going to cover it. So, folks, just sit tight. We'll get there. I promise. We will. We have so many big stories and so little time, and I can't wait. We're going to have a great time tonight. We've got a panel of excellence. And we'll bring them on in just a minute. But first, Cherokee Bear out there for 3 bad news. Trump got booed. Well, folks, here's the deal. If you thought Trump was going to go into Madison Square Garden in the middle of New York City and not get booed, he was going to get booed. He knew he was going to get booed. I don't know what the plan is here. Maybe he just wanted to see the NBA game, but go Spurs, go. We got Packing Protons for 2, another day, another week. Let's move on. Not yet, Packing Protons. There's too much to do, and it starts tonight. Patrick Getaway, 8906, has gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships, and we say a huge thank you to Patrick Getaway for starting us off the right way, folks. Super Chat goal tonight is 50, and if we get those 50, it's going to be a special Q&A. We've got members joining who have not been on the show literally in years, because of some of the topics we're going to be covering tonight. World-changing stories the drive-bys don't understand, but we do, and we're going to bring them to you, I promise. But thank you, Patrick Getaway, for starting us off, I think, the right way with the memberships.
Please, sir, may I have more pro memberships?
What?
God bless us, everyone!
And we've also got another super chat coming in. This is a member chat from Ho Hi Ho Magic. It says, another year down, turning 38 today. Well, congratulations. The Lord and Apollo show has descended upon us. And what does that mean, folks? It means we're getting ready to play the clip that you all love and need. It's time for the happy birthday. All right, everybody, make a wish. You ready, Lauren?
Go for it.
Blow out your candles.
Make a wish. Blow out your candles.
You did it indeed, and welcome to another year circling around the sun. It's a joy to say we're doing it at the same time together. Lauren, have you seen this, other than Trump getting booed? Have you seen the new thing from Netflix here about a pup named Scooby-Doo? Have you seen
Didn't see the trailer, but I saw the relevant image, though.
Starts off where it's like a velociraptor out there in the weeds. We can't play it, folks. So we have to do it this way because, entertainment companies, for some reason, don't want us to promote their products. I don't get it. Here he comes. Here comes the Velociraptor. And who is it? Unleashing in 2027. Let's get a good shot of him. Look at the chin on Shaggy. Oh, geez. Oh, wait a minute. Is Shaggy actually Morty tonight? I don't know. Front row Scoob. There we go. I found it. Hey, Shaggy. So there you go. There's a pup named Scooby-Doo. I guess he grows up at some point, but there you go. There you go. It looks like it's made with AI. Don't you think so, Lauren?
Maybe. I was a little surprised that this actually was Scoob. When I first saw the image, I sort of thought they were committing, I can't say that word, I thought they were going to make a bad business decision and have Scrappy-Doo be part
Were they, nobody likes Scrappy.
I know,
were they getting ready to pull a yoinks?
I wondered when I saw the image. It's like I had never envisioned that they would do a puppy Scooby-Doo. So there we go.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? All right. Well, Lauren, we have a lot to cover tonight, and I don't want to delay it, not one moment. So if it's okay with you, sir, are we about ready to kick this thing off?
Why not?
Why not, indeed. There's just one thing we've got to clear before we get started, and that is, folks, have you ever wanted to meet Lauren Connor in person? Have you ever wanted to shake the hand of the man who has ended the life of so many chickens out there? Poultry. Folks, you can do so at the Southeast Game Exchange, July 17th through the 19th in Greenville, South Carolina. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No booze will be felt that day. No, it'll be just cheers and confetti, a pell-mell parade at the Southeast Game Exchange, where we will be debuting Zax, the brand new game, which starting tomorrow will be an open beta for everybody to enjoy, but we'll be releasing it at the Southeast Game Exchange. Come hang out, folks, and we'll be doing a pro show live. It's just the first of many live appearances we'll be doing, and can't wait to do that. But I think, Lauren, it's going to be a great time doing a pro show live with a live audience and all that kind of stuff, and have a Q&A. I think that's going to be a great time. What do you say?
It'll be an interesting challenge. I'm kind of curious to see how it's all going to shake out. But bear in mind, since we are going to be there, you may have the possibility to actually see me consume chicken. And think of what an amazing thing that would be.
I mean, really, whether you're coming from Nevada or Montana or maybe, Alberta, folks, you could be coming from Taiwan. Are we allowed to say that? Wherever you're coming from, the idea that you could pay such a small amount as just a few $1,000s to watch Lauren eat a chicken. What else do you have to do in life? I mean, mark it off the bucket list today. That's what I say. More super chats are coming in. Let's see what we got here. We got Alexander Fort for $4.99. Pro, since you are now showing your face, I just want to say, you look great. Nice studio, too. Thank you, Alexander. You are a spiffy-looking fella as well. Jeremiah's out there, member for 36 months. That's 3 years. Are you staying at the date on the Lego situation? Are you staying at the date?
I'm guessing that means up to date.
Oh, are we staying? Yeah. Bricks and mini twigs. Yeah, we covered that the other day. And
sir, bricks and mini figs. I think
mini twigs.
Yeah, that's
mini twigs. It's a
statement
about endowment, right, Lauren?
All right. You're comfortable with it, then God bless you. Go for it.
Folks, let's get out of this situation quick. It's time for the simultaneous sip. Here we go. Click it and sip it, folks. Click the like button. Take a sip. What do you got, Lauren? He's got water. It's boring. I got matcha. Is Wiz ready yet? He's been in the back room eating cashews. Is he ready to come on yet? Hang on. Let's just force his hand. You ready? Wiz, are you there? Are you actually, what are you doing? Cashews. All right, here we go. Sip it.
Knowing him, he's in the middle of an interdimensional fight.
Probably. The deal is here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to have this matcha tonight. I had the worst coffee ever for That Park Place Live today doing the show, and I'm stuck with whatever's in the mug. It was awful. It was the worst coffee I've had in years. I had to just sit there and just take it. Just take it. Well, I see movement in the backstage. Wiz must be doing something, eh? We've got Patrick anyway for 5. I thought Scooby-Doo was a Great Dane. He looks like a chocolate lab in the pic. I'm with you. I agree. What do they got against the Great Danes these days, right? Didn't know they were part of a controversy. I know the pits are, but, All right, and looky what I see. Snarky to Stink Nugget coming through with a magnificent 20 WDW Pro memberships as we cross 500 folks watching us right now across the Tickety Talks, the Instagrammies, the GeoCities, and everywhere else you might be. Thank you, Snarky. You are the man. And, dare I say, you wear a pretty darn good fudgedora, too.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
All right, well, folks, it's time to get started. But before we do, we just want to say we've got time for a fight or two. It's time to welcome in the cashew-eating machine, the matcha gotcha hands kind of guy. It's whiz time.
Fight. It's time for real fighting. It's time for battle so exciting.
What is this madness?
When
You shall not pass.
are all enticing. Real fake wizards bring
You shall not
lightning.
pass.
You thought thumbnails were amazing, but you didn't think he could bring down the big boss in low budget demo hood. He's a matcha man with gotcha hands. Roundhouse kick will do the trick. Hit you with the Gandalf stick. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to eye gouging and biting. There's no dignity in loss, so kick them in the jaws. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss.
Here, take my wrath!
Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to eye gouging and biting. There's no dignity in loss, so kick them in the jaws. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss. Let's get to real life. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to real life. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting.
You win. I know.
Wiz, we're going to have to cut that down. It's like 17 minutes, man.
We're going to have to
Seriously.
cut it down by all minutes. Look, I just got out of seeing Sheep Detectives for the 12th time, and I walk into this. What are we doing?
Sheep detectives for the... Wiz, you got to stop, man. We talked about this. The intervention, I thought we worked our way to an agreement here. You got to stop seeing the sheep detectives.
It's the best movie of the year. What am I supposed to do?
Oh,
I'll see
boy. Oh,
it 3
boy.
more times. Okay, that's it. Just 3 more times.
3 more. Then you got to stop. Andy is wearing a great shirt. Andy, what does it say? Awesome like my daughter.
Guess where I got this?
I can only imagine. No self-promotion in the Andy Masterson household, eh?
She's something else. Too much like me.
Love it, love it. And Wiz, a little bit of a different backdrop you got there. You're not in the normal cauldron.
No, I'm not. So it turns out I didn't bring the normal cauldron with me on my hard drive. So today we're in a Nintendo Pokemon Direct.
Well, all right then. Sheep Detectives and Nintendo Directs for Wizard.
That's right.
But you look good, buddy. You look good. The beard is especially fluffy.
Well, it's because it's the normal beard again. You know,
What are you talking about? Wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean the normal beard?
Yeah, this is the original one. This is the proper wizard beard. And Amazon, ever since I became a fake wizard, has decided we're going to ship garbage beards now that are thinner, they're smaller in size, they're less fluffy. And yeah, so this is
how many of the originals do you have?
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough.
You know, this reminds me of on Conan O'Brien, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. They tried to find as many of those as they could. They got like 3. They're like, we got 3 and that's it. When the 3 are gone, it's over. No more Triumph. So
that's how I feel.
That's how the beard is. All right. Well, be careful with that thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's already hanging on by a thread. So we're in a great spot.
Literally. All right, folks. Yeah. It's our happy place. We hope it's your happy place too. Welcome to the 600 joining us right now. Let's get to it. The headlines never stop, and neither do we. And as I've said before, we've got a show unlike anything we've ever done before tonight. Truly, we're going to talk about humanity-changing stories that also have implications on entertainment. So get ready, get set. It's time. Let's get started right now. They're at it again, Mom. They're doing it again, Dad. They're trying to change Toy Story into a girl brand. Here's what we've got, and I'll tell you a little sneak peek, a little spoiler to the story. It might actually work this time. That Park Place, Trevor Denning writing this one. Andrew Stanton, that's the director, admits Toy Story 5 is all about Jessie. Is this another Disney bait and switch? Look out, Buzz. Look out, Woody. Toy Story 5 is one of the most anticipated films of the summer. Fans who have been with the franchise for the last 3 decades may be looking forward to introducing their own children to Buzz Lightyear and Woody. However, in a recent interview, writer and director Andrew Stanton revealed that Toy Story 5 will focus on Jessie the cowgirl. The comment has sparked debate online. Additionally, the film's marketing has heavily focused on Buzz and Woody, leading some fans to wonder if the beloved characters will be sidelined. Stanton, co-director Kenna Harris, and producer Lindsay Collins recently sat for an interview with MovieWeb's Joe Deckelmeyer, who noted that Joan Cusack's Jessie is the center of Toy Story 5. He asked the trio what made her the right choice. Well, we had gone to the well of Woody so much, Stanton said, which is a very strange phrase. I don't recommend anybody ever say that. He said, I just felt like he needs a break. Let him rest. Let Woody have a rest for a change. Stanton added that Woody will still have stuff, but it won't have to be such high stakes. Shifting the conversation to Jessie, the director suggested that her character deserved more attention than the last Toy Story film. She was so ready to be the next leader of the toys in the room, and so it was always on my mind from the minute I got brought on for Toy Story 4. I made sure that we passed the badge on, so it was official. Stanton framed the decision as a natural reflection of life, as people often find themselves in new positions of leadership. However, the idea that shifting the focus of Toy Story 5 to Jessie was set up in the last film may not matter to some fans. And you can see that the story goes on. Folks, we recommend that you read this. This is, I think, following right along the path of what we've seen so much from Disney, and it's like they didn't get the memo. There's one change to this, though, and I think that they might actually pull it off this time. I don't know for sure, but it's this story. Out of Complex, Trey Alston. Taylor Swift's I Knew It, I Knew You shatters streaming records in first 24 hours. The country track, written for Toy Story 5, set all-time single-day records on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. T Swift is going to be singing the follow-up to When She Loved Me. You remember I think it was Sarah McLachlan sang it? When She Loved Me. Tearjerker, right? Well, T Swift has written a song, I Knew It, I Knew You, and that's going to be the new one where when Jessie the cowgirl, spoiler alert, finds her, first owner, this song's going to play. And boys and girls, I'm going to tell you, I've listened to the song. I don't know if you guys have. I think out of the pantheon of Taylor Swift songs, it's not great. But people, I'm not the demo. And that's the thing. I'm not the demo. And
who is the demo pro?
I think it's girls. I don't know why they keep doing this, but Toy Story 5, I believe, is being positioned as a girl movie. Now,
from Disney?
I don't know if Toys. No. Wiz, I think they may pull it off this time, but I think that the franchise will be damaged because of it going forward. This has always been about Andy and his toys, and Toy Story 4, I think, is a terrible movie, and I'm afraid Toy Story 5 might be going that same path.
But before Wiz says something, you cannot say that they are not paying attention, they're not learning the lesson, and then say, I think they may get it right this time.
No. Oh, okay, let me explain that then, real quick.
Two things can be true, though.
I think it's going to make $1 billion because of the legacy of the franchise, but I think this will be like Moana, where the Moana live action is going to be a flop this year because Moana 2, people hated it, they still went to go see it because they loved the first one.
Yes. Yeah. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, bro. Lauren didn't get it.
Lauren.
I think this is going to be the movie of the summer. Moana's not tracking very well. Supergirl's not tracking very well. Masters of the Universe, yikes. Disclosure Day, we don't know how that's going to be, and that's not a kids movie, right? So
great marketing on that one.
Yeah. I think when we look around, it's like, yes, this movie is going to do well. It is a Toy Story movie. Toy Story movies historically have done well. I think Toy Story 4 left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. However, it is Toy Story, and Toy Story does put butts in seats.
If there are two bad ones, two films that stray from the original message of the Toy Story movies, does it really damage, though, even Toy Story, which is, I mean, that's Pixar.
Well, that is Pixar. I think, unfortunately, Toy Story has decided that ever since Toy Story 2, when we had that really aggressively sad Jessie song, you know,
when she
loved me. Yeah.
Loved me. You got to slow it down to like 3 beats per minute.
That's right. It is a hijack out of the movie for that song, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not. It didn't fit the tone of the
when
movie at the time.
Somebody loved me.
Since that moment, Toy Story has been.
Sorry.
See, hijacking the moment. That's what it does. ever since then, Toy Story has tried to do. Okay, well, we're gonna do super peak. Emotional, we're going to get audiences to cry, we're going to get kids to cry, and they did it right in Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 was supposed to be the send-off, and it was promised as a send-off, and then Toy Story 4 attempted to do it, but it did it in such a
terrible
phony
movie.
way.
It's a terrible movie.
But the problem is you can't believe it. So the point I'm trying to make is, if they just go back to being fun, if this is just, can we just do a fun movie? You know, if you want to make all the Toy Stories you want, you'll keep making $1 billion each time if they're just fun. Stop trying to outdo Toy Story 3. Accept the fact you can't outdo Toy Story 3, but just do Toy Story movies. And they got to be good. They have to be well written, but they could just be toys go on adventures, and they could have meaningful stories without trying to do we're tugging on your heartstrings every single time now, because it didn't work as well in 4, and it hurt the movie for it. So if you want to do a Jessie movie, Godspeed, go for it. Ship a good movie, and maybe it'll help the franchise out. But so far, I think if this is a 2 for 2 on not good movies, you're in a bad spot, and Pixar can't afford it.
This is something that Pixar keeps doing too. You know, Incredibles is a phenomenal movie, just out of this world good. Incredibles 2 is like not. It's like compensating. It's like it's like they feel sorry that they made the first one, even though it's a masterpiece. Wreck-It Ralph. Tremendous, amazing movie. Wreck-It Ralph 2. Hey, we're sorry we made that. Here's what we really believe. Lauren, I hope they don't do that with Toy Story. What do you think about this? And does the Taylor Swift, does the T-Swift strategy pull this off this time?
I'm going to have the hot take on this. This movie is not going to do as well as you think it is. They've already had 2 bad Toy Story movies. They had Toy Story 4. They had Lightyear. And I think that you're forgetting that we are in the season of the audience deciding that they're going to punish Disney. So I think that what you're seeing with the song is Taylor Swift has a lot of fans. I'm not sure that kids are still into toys, and I think that maybe the audience has had enough of Toy Story, and especially the desecration of Toy Story. So we'll see.
By
how
golly,
the first
that's a hot
weekend
take.
goes.
By golly, that's a hot take.
That is scorching hot.
All right, let's keep the scorch going, Lauren. Is anything under $1 billion a failure? Does that qualify in what you're saying? Anything under $1 billion?
I think they might consider it so, because this has been one of their guaranteed moneymakers, you know, and it would be a headline if it came in under that. And I think it would be another great big red flashing sign with a bunch of accompanying warning bells telling them we have to change what we're doing. So, I mean, the fact that they're going forward with yet again saying, all right, we're going to hand it off to the girl now, when the audience has plainly told every studio on earth, we're done with this. But if they're not going to get the message, they're going to keep getting the lesson. That's the way it's going to work.
Andy, what's your theory on this? Where does this franchise go? Is it is this going to be a moment where we learn something that Lorne, I think, has warned about, or does this just is it an auto billion-dollar machine?
I don't know that the kids are that into it anymore. I don't know really what they're going to see. Like what's really out there that's pushed out there for kids? Will it be something that you can take the kids to and keep them busy for 2 hours? Yeah, but it's expensive. It's you're doing a lot of snacks and stuff for the kids, keep them busy to entertain them for this long. It used to be cheap to take the kids to the movie. Now it's not so much anymore. I don't think this is going to do well. I know like there's a lot of adults that were huge Toy Story fans, but Toy Story 4 kind of broke that. I think they broke the model, and this doesn't look like it's learning anything. That doesn't go back to the classic stories of it. And I find it interesting that in Toy Story 2, they kind of set up that thing, the differences between the way boys and girls play, and I think they're not really going back to that. It's sort of a trying to make it like there's no change. There's no difference between Bonnie and Andy, which is nonsense. And it's kind of illustrated when the old prospector like gets lost and gets stuck with the little girl. And you're like, oh, you're going to love her. She's an artist. And like you see the Barbie with the head shaved. And boy, was that a premonition. But it was an indicator that like, yeah, there's differences in the way kids play with these things. And I think the nostalgia is over. And if the parents don't want to go see the movie, they probably won't drag the kids to it.
Last question for the panel. Anybody who wants to weigh in, weigh in. It's only got a 2.5 week runway. And then Minions arrives. I think this is the first time we've got a shot at the Minions taking down Toy Story.
I think it's going to be really hard to do. And I'm speaking from a place of just a gut reaction, and there's been a couple things we've seen online. This Minions movie might not do as great as previous ones.
You think people are tired of the Minions as well?
I think people are losing the flair for the Minions. I think it's been getting a little old, but then again, it's been going on since I think 2008.
Beedo.
It's been going for a while, and I think I also haven't seen a tremendous amount of marketing for the Minions, and I've seen a lot of marketing for Toy Story. So maybe that has something to do with it. It's going to come down to, do parents want to keep going to see the Minions movies, and also do parents want to keep going to see Toy Story movies?
Well, Lorne is the man of the hot take of the hour. Lorne, I'll give you the final word on it because I think you convinced all of us. I think this movie might be in more trouble than I had first thought. Maybe T Swift is the one who's popular, maybe not Pixar.
It's just a gut feeling on my part, and I'm totally open to being wrong, but I think the audience is sick of Disney. I think the audience is sick of what Disney has been doing, and I think the audience is sick of endless sequels. I think that they're ready for something original that is family-friendly and that reminds them why they liked Toy Story as it was conceived. I think if they wanted to do a Toy Story movie that would be popular, they actually needed to fix Buzz after Lightyear, and they're not doing that, and I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, this should have been a Buzz Lightyear-led Buzz Lightyear first movie to fix that brand identity for Buzz Lightyear. And the fact it's not, that might be problematic.
Could be. The last thing I'll say, if this movie comes out and all of the actors, all of the toys sound old, I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but if Joan Cusack comes out and says, "Yeehaw, Woody, let's go, ride 'em, bullseye," not going to be a good time for this movie at the box office. So hang tight. We'll find out if that's true. Like in the marketing, it has been so. We'll let you know real soon. Folks, we never forget that you are the superstars of the show. Without you, the dream to stream does not come true. We do not get the gigawatts we need to send somewhere sunny USA all across the US of A, and we do not weigh in on what's happening in Hollyweird, holding them to account and dragging them, the Hollyweirds, kicking and screaming back to the mainstream middle, the sensible center where money is made. So thank you to everybody out there. you're seen, you're appreciated right here on the Pro Show. Wildfire for 5. Nice seeing you all today. Wildfire, that is mutually felt. We love seeing you out there too. Hope you're having a good one. Daniel is dropping by, member for 4 months. I had a very bad day today, but I'm glad I'm here. Well, Daniel, that's what we're here for, is we cover the news, some good, some bad, probably 70-30, A lot of times we're covering stuff that we need it to be fixed. That's what makes the news. But we hope we do it in a way that puts a smile on your face. And on those bad days, that's when you need stability, and you need to go to a place where hey, they're going to bring the sunshine, and that's us. That's why they call him real life fake sunshine. Mr. Sunshine, Mr. Blue Sky. 365 Ral, member for 12 months. Hey, happy year. Turn Toy Story into a girl brand? They leered nada from Star Wars. 365 Ral, I commend you on the way that you have formatted that member chat. That is genius. And Scott Westbrook is stopping by. Folks, some of our friends are going to disappear for a moment. We'll bring them right on back. See, I told you. I know how this works. You get here, you get there, you go there. Boom, baby. We're looking good again. Scott Westbrook. Now it's time to say thank you. Let's see. We got Joed for 5, or Joe Ed for 5. Toy Story 4 had that body horror stuff with the music box that another toy was more deserving of.
Yeah, that was rough. The Toy Story 4 is just a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. And it was defended. It was defended to the, to the tops by the legacy media, but I'm telling you, people didn't like it. You can pretend otherwise. It inverts Woody's entire character. He abandons his friends. He goes off on his own selfish adventure, and that's not who he is. He's a different archetype, and that, by the way, also reverses the story arc he had in the first film. So not a good thing. Siths and Giggles for $4.99. It take the girl boss out again, or else Disney get the hose again. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. By the way, for those of you out there who might ask yourself, why are these grown men talking about a little cowboy toy and, his story arc? Well, folks, Disney takes this seriously. The Wokies take this seriously. The legacy media takes this seriously. So why do they take it seriously? They take it seriously because they know that what they're actually doing is they're coding the ethics of tomorrow into kids. And it's subtle. It's not overt. But when they put in a reversal to the character of the characters, just like with Luke, smaller scale with Woody, but they know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. We have to care about what they're doing, or else they'll keep doing it. And another generation is raised on heroes that are not becoming of what we want humanity to become. To nail the 10th for 5, nice to see Disney being unable to sweep their failures under the rug, even if it's because they're now the kind of mess you can clean up with a mop, not a broom. I've been accused of brooming too. We've got Pastor of Muppets for 10. Minecraft was huge for the kids. I agree with Lauren on Toy Story 5. These studios need to stop milking these cash cows. If you want a hot take, my favorite part of your face reveal was being rickrolled by Wilton. Yeah, that was something.
At least one. There's at least one person loved it.
Yay! Hey. Maybe they'll get one sub out of that. And we've got Pastor of Muppets back again, dropping 5 more memberships. We take it back. We're happy you loved Wilton. Yay! Go Wilton!
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was heard.
All right, folks, it's time to continue the show, and we are awaiting the arrival of somebody who should be in after the next segment. Again, he's not been here in years. We can't wait to bring him on. I think you're going to really appreciate the conversation we have in just a few. And we want to say thank you to all 800 right now joining us across the Tickety Talks, the Instagrammies, the GeoCities, and everywhere else you might be. ICQ too. Uh-oh. Wherever you are, folks, we're happy to have you on this great, big, beautiful planet. And let's talk about a topic near and dear to Lauren, if that's okay. Lauren, looks like the stuff on Star Wars is coming true. You ready?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Lauren, I don't get the feeling that you actually are excited about the future of Star Wars as much anymore, is it?
I haven't been excited about the future of Star Wars for quite some time.
He needs
right,
his
fine,
ray
then.
of sunshine.
We're gonna get you the ray you need, Lauren. We're gonna get you that ray you need.
Uh-oh.
The main guy who plays Mando says the character will be back, but there is no guarantee how he's going to be back, and definitely not an assurance that a movie is on the way. It's all pointing towards perhaps the scoop that we had about Star Wars and the sequel trilogy reset, perhaps looking more likely every single day. Michael Patterson writing this one for Bam, Smack, Pow! The Mandalorian Grogu future addressed by Star after box office struggles. And I'm happy they're calling this man a star. No, it's not Pedro, by the way. Is there a way back to either screen for the Mandalorian Grogu? One of the film's stars has a surprising answer. It's surprising because Bam, Smack, Pow! Knows that this is damaged so badly now that all the little Grogu toys are probably being canceled. And no, we don't get them out in Christmas. Nobody wants them. The Mando action figures are going to be put to Ollie's. And it's, it's a sad thing for Star Wars, eh? It says it's safe to say that The Mandalorian Grogu is one of the most high-profile releases of the year so far. If not, one of the most successful, because it's not. Even so, the Star Wars movie underperformed at the box office. Its isolated performance was fine for a typical movie. No, it wasn't. But for one attached to one of the biggest film franchises of all time and one of the most popular Disney Plus shows since the streamer's inception, it underperformed. Despite a slightly better than expected opening weekend, it wasn't. That was all part of that fake narrative they put out. The flick saw a huge 70% decline in its second weekend, leaving Star Wars fans feeling very deflated. Or maybe they feel great, elated, I would say, because the message sent. Signal delivered. Low-budget horror movies, Obsession and Backrooms, are now catching up to its current box office total. They're surpassing it. Naturally, the futures of Din Djarin and Grogu, as well as that of the Star Wars franchise itself, are unclear. But here's what you need to know. Now, the way this article presents it, because I don't think they're keen on what we have to say, they're talking about a sequel could happen. But that's not actually what's being said. There could be a way for more Mando and Grogu stories, according to Brendan Wayne, grandson of the Duke himself, John Wayne. One of the three actors credited for playing Din Djarin himself, and by the way, we think he plays Mando most of the time. There is a future for both the beloved Star Wars characters, or there's a future for both of the beloved Star Wars characters, Mando and Grogu. I don't think they're beloved anymore, but okay. I'm being harsh with this author, but I have to. Speaking at Fan Expo Philadelphia, again, I'll say that again, Fan Expo Philadelphia, last weekend, he was certain that the double act would return. Quote, here's the quote from the guy who plays Mando most of the time. We also know, or maybe only I do, that there is definitely a place in the world for more of us. I think the audiences have given us the permission to proceed. I don't know if it's going to be on the small screen or the big screen. My guess is the big screen, but I'm looking forward to it. Now, there is no more Mando on Disney Plus, and there's no way that they're going to greenlight a sequel to a film that's going to lose or come short of the break even by like $150 to $300 million. So, Lauren, when I look at this, you know, the story that we've heard that they're going to try to strap Ahsoka and Mando onto a legacy character and wrap this thing up with a world between worlds, probably Anakin, probably Hayden. Lauren, it's looking more and more likely every day to me, and the signs seem to be pointing that way. And I find it interesting that the Duke's grandson says, maybe I only know this. Maybe he has had some talks. What do you think, Lauren?
Well, I agree with you that I don't think that this is going to be a continuation of the Mandalorian series. I think that they have determined that that's too expensive. At the same time, they can't greenlight a follow-up to this movie because it wasn't a movie.
Right.
And the real corner that they're painted in is that they still need to have additional character development. Now, I disagreed with Fake Wizard and some of the others on the idea that there was no character development in The Mandalorian and Grogu. I believe there was, but not enough to continue on. My suspicion is that they'll probably be roped into Ahsoka in some way. I don't know that they can get enough development there either. They may try and do this. I don't think they're in a position to do it. They've still got a lot of making up to do to the audience before they're going to feel good about trying to wrap all of this stuff up. And anything that they do is going to feel like a rush job that's sloppy. That's the corner they painted themselves into.
I think they're waiting to see how Ahsoka season 2 performs, and I think they're waiting on Starfighter. But I think ultimately they know, and the C-suite knows, that this has to go to a sequel trilogy reset. And one of the reasons that I think that's now obvious that they understand this, whether they do it or not, there's nothing going on with a Rey movie. There's nothing going on with the High Republic. Like, we have run out of stories now. There's nothing else to tell.
The one big thing, and there's a ticking clock on them now, because next year is the 50th anniversary. They have to begin making announcements of some kind. They've got to start trying to get the hype train going again in some way, and nobody trusts them. So what they have to lead with is the release of the original 77 A New Hope without the A New Hope subtitle. The original release, they've got to lead with that, because that's the thing that'll get the audiences hyped. But they need something else. It's got to be a publishing initiative. It's got to be something that will be universally accepted somehow. And I just don't see how that works. I hope they got a rabbit they can pull out of their hat, but I just don't see what it could be.
Guys, we're in a position now where it looks very unlikely that it tops $200 million, the domestic box office. $200 million is gone for the international, and $350 is the worldwide. Looks tough. So they can't make a sequel.
Hey!
I know.
What's that worldwide box office at?
I know.
You remember the number that I put out for the final wrap?
310.
311.
It's gonna top 311.
Oh, I thought you said 310.
No,
it's going to top 311. But
you made a liar out of me, Lauren.
You really think
called it.
You think it's going to top 311?
Yeah, it's going to trickle. It's going to trickle to like 320-ish, somewhere around there. I mean, that's so close. I mean, listen, I'm not taking anything from you. You got it really close.
I still don't think it's going to get up there. I think they're going to pull this thing within the next couple
of
years.
Losing theaters. It is losing theaters like crazy. So we need to keep that in mind.
And that's possible. They may not want it to compete with Toy Story. So they could pull it for the very fact of saying, well, why would we want to have this taking screens that we could give to Jessie the Cowgirl?
Let me ask this question. They said that they were going to put out this immediately, this new special edition with the director commentary. Have they already done that?
I don't know. Have they?
If they have done that and it doesn't bounce the ticket sales, they'll pull it on the 22nd. They'll only let this thing run for a month.
It's not going to bounce anything. Okay, so Andy, I think we're going to a sequel trilogy reset. A lot of people have said that's never going to happen. It's crazy. I don't think they have a choice. I mean, I think we are at the end of this. There is no more market for Star Wars as it currently is constituted as Disney. You either reset it or you let it sit because it's done.
The rabbit Lauren's talking about pulling out of their hat is actually a skunk that identifies as a rabbit, and it's going to be the big problem. They have none of their ideas have worked. Now they have to choose between recognizing that none of their ideas have worked. The things that they thought were good ideas turned out to not be good ideas. They're going to have to go back and they have to get rid of the sequel trilogy. If they don't realize by now, it's that millstone around their neck as they're trying to swim. They're going to have to do something that's going to give, even if they just suggest, they don't have to even necessarily do anything. Just say that things are not going to go in that direction now because Ahsoka has sacrificed herself and is going to change things into a different direction. They don't even have to necessarily put that on screen right away. Just say something pivotal that was supposed to happen where Luke becomes what he turns into. People want to see that. I remember the talk when Starkiller was out in The Force Unleashed, where he was doing all these cool things like pulling Star Destroyers out of the sky, and people wanted to see Jedi Master Luke do that. And instead, we have him toss the lightsaber over his shoulder and die of a Force overdose. they have to go back into something classic, because without screwing it up, that's the most important thing. Not to screw it up, because they've shown us that they are perfectly capable and willing to screw things up from what was popular. If they think this is going to be a sequel, The Mandalorian at best is a side character. It's it's a show that would have done really well if the franchise itself was healthy. It's just like Marvel in that you would have had a lot of uh, side movies, side themes in Marvel, a cosmic side, a street level side, a mystical side, if the main franchise was healthy. But once they tanked it, everything else goes along with it. It's kind of like when you have a store in a shopping plaza and the anchor store goes down. Yeah, well, now the Five Guys is closing up, the Five Below is closing up, the nail place is closing up because the anchor store is no longer there. That pretty much sums up the state that they're in.
So I'm not I'm not making this as an actual suggestion. I'm being facetious here. But what if they did a meta retcon where instead of having the Luke wakes up and realizes it's all a dream, something in a similar vein, revealed that episodes 7, 8, and 9 were actually Imperial remnant propaganda that they had produced to indicate to the followers of their worlds that Luke was washed up in bed and that the actual heir to the Jedi tradition was the heir of Palpatine, and that's why we're going to win. And then it's revealed in the actual episode 7 that they're going down in flames while the Jedi Order marches forward under Luke's leadership.
Can we get a Kathleen lookalike who, the final Kathleen stand-in, the doppelganger? Hey, Wiz, here's what I think is going to happen, and I think it's been. I think they're forecasting this for us. We just have to listen now to what they're saying and go, "Yep, here we go." Hayden Christensen will appear in at least 2 more Star Wars projects post Ahsoka. Barside Buzz from LRM Online. I mean, Wiz, the only thing we have left is that we know that Hayden Christensen will be there, and that means that Anakin will be. Anakin is the future of whatever they're going to do. There's no doubt about that. That's not a question anymore. It's what are they going to do with Anakin? But the future they have decided, post whatever that meeting was with the Disney executives, is Anakin.
And it's not going to be enough. And it's going to ruin how people perceive Anakin. It's going to deal more damage to Star Wars. But it's not going to matter anymore. And I know Lauren is going to say that this is like kind of a black-pilling take, but I'm just speaking from the normie consumer perspective. If I'm a business person trying to make a sale,
I don't think you can blackpill anymore after this box office, Wiz.
I'm not going to accuse you of blackpilling. I will accuse you of blackpilling on the Mando and Grogu movie, not on Star Wars
that was
itself.
A pile of garbage. That movie was a pile of garbage. They shouldn't have shipped it. It should have been relegated to Disney Plus. I should not have had to have paid to see that in theaters.
I think we all agree Disney Plus was the appropriate place. Oh, go ahead, Wiz. Go ahead.
Right. Everything. So Lauren just made a very interesting case of like, well, what if they were to do this with the story? The problem is anything that we would come up with and anything that they would come up with to try to explain away or to shove away or to move away from mistakes that have been made, the normal audience that makes $1 billion movie doesn't care. If we look right now at Marvel is currently going through what looks to be 2 months of reshoots on Doomsday, because Doomsday is at a pinnacle point now, where if this movie ships and fails, you will lose they understand the stakes now for Doomsday. And I know it's Marvel and Star Wars, it's different things, but it's not in this case. Because Doomsday is in the position right now of creating the next Star Wars collapse, where Marvel will be gone and won't be able to come back. So they are sparing no expense. This Doomsday movie has to hit, even if we take a massive loss on it, it'll keep the franchise alive. And for Star Wars, it's too far gone, right? You cannot get them back. So Doomsday, they're gonna reshoot it 1,000 times over. They'll leak all of the scripts imaginable just to see how people respond to them, just to see what the nerds say, and then we're gonna come back and change things. Star Wars never operated like that. It was always an internal thing. We know better than the fans. The fans are stupid. The fans are istophobes. You're terrible if you hate everything that we do. Also, oh my gosh, people aren't buying. Well, that's impossible because what we're making is incredible. What we're making is state of the art. We're sparing no expense. There's no way we could have done this wrong. It doesn't matter. You don't need the Disney shills, and you actually don't need the legacy fans as much as we like to believe we're very important. We are important, but we're not as important as the unattached, unemotional normie that makes $1 billion movie. That's what you need.
That's the thing that I will disagree with you on, which is that unattached, unemotional normie looks to the diehard fans to determine whether to buy the ticket.
I don't disagree with that at all. 100%. I agree with you there. But when we look at The Force Awakens, it was a universal, a fresh entry point for people to get on the Star Wars boat.
But I will posit that the reason for that was, at the time, all of the hate was for the prequels. And everybody thought, well, maybe if we get George out of the picture, we can get good Star Wars again. Now we've had this. No such passage of time is going to make anybody think that we're going to get something better next time.
Well, let me see if I understand that right. So what you're saying is that the prequels are qualitatively poor films, maybe, okay? They're qualitatively poor, but they don't destroy the franchise. They don't deconstruct the mythos. The sequels under Disney, we found out what it looks like when you actually despise the original source and you want to completely invert it, and then you do destroy it, right? So there's a difference in the execution was lacking, and we executed the whole thing on purpose.
Right, and I would also say that George was ahead of the audience a little bit. He did hit on the prequels with the intended audience, and as they grew and got deeper into it, it did go through a critical reevaluation, and I think deservedly so. I've still got some quibbles with the prequels, but my God, compared to what they gave us with the sequels, they're a friggin' masterpiece.
Guys, chances now that Anakin shows up in a Dave Filoni verse, he and Ahsoka walk the little light bridge, and the world between worlds, she has to become whatever the mother, sister, daughter, whatever this crazy stuff is. And it resets the timeline, and the sequels exist, but they exist swept away. And we start all over again with Jedi Master Luke in 5, 6, 7 years.
They're not going to undo what they've done. They are not going to undo the sequels. It would be so damaging. They would be.
What's worse? What's worse, Wiz? They're losing $250 million on the movie. What's worse? I feel like Clark Griswold on Christmas Eve. We're at the precipice of hell, Wiz.
Not to break this into a massive tangent, but if we look at the level of shift that is happening with Masters of the Universe right now with Amazon, that terrifies me for what Disney is going to do when they figure out that strategy might work as a way to make shareholders appeased with our losses.
Hold on though. You got to, because we're bringing it. Yeah, you got to explain that. Go for it.
Right. So right now we've just gotten through the first weekend of, actually, I need to back up further. Mandalorian and Grogu was an absolute collapse, total failure. Yes, we know, we've talked about it. We've confirmed. However, the goal posting has been shifted now, where all of the shills that don't know what to do have either gone dark silent, or they've started saying, well, it's actually not about the box office anymore. It's about toy sales and merchandise sales. It's about advertising dollars. It's about collabs with other companies. See, they are searching. They're looking for a way to explain it away. Masters of the Universe, just this past weekend, has elevated the ante to a level I never could have seen coming. And now they're saying that, oh, well, actually, Masters of the Universe going to theaters was part of our holistic release approach, because Amazon Prime is a streamer. And so now, if it's just going to the box office and it takes a loss at the box, well, it didn't matter that it was a loss at the box office, because it was only ever going to go to streaming anyway. We're making up all of this money in other places, and therefore it's not a loss. We didn't lose anything. We're making the money up on the streamers, and we still control the narrative, despite the fact that they'll lose $100 million making the thing. And in the case of Star Wars and Disney, I think they're paying attention, and I think that's the next thing that's going to happen. We're going to see it with Supergirl. That's my next guess. Supergirl is going to be, we're shipping it to HBO Max in a couple of weeks. This thing is going to crush it. We're killing it. Oh, it was our holistic approach.
Because, okay, I'm with you on the He-Man thing. I can't go with you on Supergirl, because I actually think that the people who own Supergirl dislike the guy in charge of Supergirl.
So they want it to burn.
I think the Ellisons I think they're so done with gun.
I think Disney is going to shake it up on this, and they are going to start using this as a metric of movement to shift the goalpost so that the box office isn't the way we've seen this in gaming before. Like we've legitimately seen this in gaming with the streaming services and video games, that they want to use that to be able to prove that games aren't failing, because at point of sale if point of sale is no longer a metric for success, then the corporations control every part of the narrative.
I will say the good news is we're going to know within a year what's going to happen, because they absolutely must have something for next year. And if they don't, they're beyond cooked. And I think there's a good argument to be made. They're already beyond cooked. I'm pretty much in complete agreement with you at this point, Fake Wizard. That's why I'm saying you can't black pill me on Star Wars at this point, because I don't see a way to fix it. My only disagreement with you was how you and some others rated The Mandalorian and Grogu. And the reason for that is,
it's not a movie.
I agree with you it's not a movie. I agree with you it shouldn't have been theatrically released. My disagreement is that if you would score it differently depending on where it's released, then you're not really rating the story. You're not really, because it's the same no matter where it is.
So Pro is going to do a rare thing here and say if we follow that, we're going to be on a 20-minute discussion of it. So let's table that for the moment, because I really want to hear what Andy has to say about everything we've said. Andy, get in here and tell us your thoughts on the chances of a double down, He-Man style.
Okay, so I agree where you're coming from, Wiz, with the idea that they're going to try and deflect blame and say, look, we did this to make money over here. But the problem, the fly in the ointment of that is there's an Ollie's out there where all these toys are going to go to, and everybody's going to see that they don't sell. We remember back when Star Wars was at its heyday, and you would walk into Toys R Us and Walmart, and you would see these gigantic displays of action figures everywhere and plush toys, and the entire store was just filled with Star Wars, and it all sold. And at the end, you had a little bit of stuff left over. Something Lauren said a few weeks ago was that not only do they have to get rid of the sequel trilogy because it is a cancer, but then after that, they've got to hit a home run, and then you got to hit another home run after that. That's the thing that's really the tough part. I don't know that they have the talent to do this, and I think that everybody's has a niche now. There are so many options for things to watch. No one feels committed they have to go see anything anymore, because there's something else that they can go see in another corner that's going to take up their attention and their money that they don't have to go check out. There's nothing that makes you feel like, hey, there's no FOMO that I have to be part of this. And the toy sales have evaporated because there's not that many kids anymore. And the ones that are out there want to rather play electronic games, which they're not doing either. If they were smart, which they're not, they would be catering to this and making, if the kids are playing electronically, then make some electronic games and then make some action figures that go along with the electronic game. That's how you could take Wiz's model and make it into something that's going to be multifaceted. But where they have it now, it's just like, look, as soon as we get the ball back out of left field, the game will be back on. And they're hoping that by the time the ball gets back into play, there's something else they can distract with. At this point, I think it's cooked. They definitely have got to get rid of the sequel trilogy, because without that, you're never going to get the diehard fans back or the classic fans back. So you have to do that. And then the normies can follow, because they're going to be like, oh, these guys know what they're talking about, and I'll listen to them because they know what Star Wars was. So they need a two-prong attack with this to salvage it. Get rid of the sequels and make something of quality and prove they can do that. And that's where I think is their biggest problem.
And just a reminder, every year that they don't have a home run is another year of generational loss. Kids today don't remember when Star Wars was big. And it may be their grandkids one day if this doesn't get changed at Disney. Nobody in the C-suite right now at Disney is emotionally or legacy attached to what happened with the sequels. It's in their interest to drop it. And the hubris of Bob Iger has left the building.
Commander Cody, the time has come, homie. Execute Order 66.
And it's back. We got a lot of stars out there, and the stars have a lot to say about Star Wars. Here we go. Snarky is out there for Fitty. Snarky, thank you, buddy. My princess is in town for the summer. Dad did his first escape room, for which Gracie and her mom love. I spoke up to my bosses last week, and my senior management came back with perspective and positivity. A blessing and a curse, Boeing. Shocked I was. Those who don't know, Snarky does a really cool thing working on planes, and it's a really amazing job. And Snarky, we're wishing you very well. We've missed you on that gameplay. Thanks for giving us the life update. And yeah, I've done a couple of those escape rooms. They can be fun, but I got in trouble. I don't know if you guys ever got in trouble in escape rooms. But, they wanted you to follow the little clues and the riddles, and I was supposed to be a super spy agent or whatever in the escape room. So I didn't know. I picked the locks. And they said I wasn't allowed to do that. Why not?
No, you picked the locks.
I picked the locks.
Oh, you cheated.
No, I didn't. I was supposed to be a super secret agent. And then the little voice came over the intercom and said, "How did you unlock that already?" Wasn't hard.
That's yeah. Somehow that's very on brand.
I think so.
You would pick the locks, wouldn't
I
you?
did pick the locks. Snarky for 2. Hail all the love in this chat. The bestest. That's right. Best community out there. And Snarky is one of the leaders of the gang. John Maynor setting sail on the high seas for 1999. Josh or Dave need TK to announce that they are retconning the Disney Star Wars stuff without reservation just before they re-release Star Wars. So this is one of those things that this starts to push the edge of where I think they can go. But I think financially, it's in their interest to do a mea culpa. I don't know how they do it, but I think it's in their interest to just rip the Band-Aid off. We've seen companies do this before where they come out and say, we know we missed the mark. We're going to improve. We can't tell you what we're going to do, but we get it. We've heard you. We get the message. I don't think they're going to do that at Disney.
I think the stock price collapses.
Oh, not of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think the stock might go up if they come out and say, we get it. We hear you. We're going to fix it.
No, but that's the other thing is they're not they don't actually care about what their stockholders believe. And also the stockholders are barely interested and they don't know anything about Star Wars to care.
Well, there's a huge part of it's institutional investing. So, yeah.
Right.
When a pirate shares his treasure with you, know that it came at a cost, even from the likes of someone such as Captain John Maynor.
John Maynor. The man, the myth, the legend, the pirate. CP is out there for 5. Glad to see Pro. Glad to see you, CP. Snazzy looking fellow in that avatar. Just Jay is out there for 5. Lauren, I finally got to try that chicken parm at Romanza in Peppermill. My birthday was yesterday. Cheers, gentlemen. Here's to another 44 years.
Cheers.
And many more eviscerated chickens.
Happy birthday!
Ost51989 for 499. They should reinstate the EU and start adapting the good stories of the EU like the Thrawn trilogy and New Jedi Order.
It'd be hard to do.
Would be. Lauren, you approve of this one?
Well, I've talked about this in the past. I know that's what everybody wants, but adapting a book to a movie is very difficult to do, especially when the stories are of the length of those stories. So if you were going to do it, it likely wouldn't be theatrical. It would have to be a TV series, and I don't think that's where you want Star Wars.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, won't we? We're going to find out how the next TV show does, because that's all they got left. We got Snarky for 5. I told my son the movie was over after the second act, and he believed me. I took him this past weekend, a fun gag. Mando is cooked. Andy, Wiz, rip it to shreds, says the Fudge Dora. Let's see. Is it better to leave early or arrive late to Mando?
Leave early. Leave early when he says, I'm going to go home and take a nap. You go home and take a nap too.
Yep. Yeah, I think when he wakes up and he looks at Grogu and does whatever he does when he wakes up, that's the get out of Dodge moment. Go ahead and leave the theater. It's not getting better. Fair?
Yeah. I would say when he goes back home though.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. When he goes home and he's like, I'm going to go rest. You go home and rest too. It's over.
I like the idea of leaving with the kids when he's down on the, in the swamp planet. Spoilers, folks. You've all seen it. Or you're not going to. Just, yeah, kids, he died.
It's a good way to leave it.
He didn't make it, darn it. Michael is out there for 5. Wiz, the Amazon shareholders don't give a flying F about any box office. They care about AWS.
Yeah.
Disney can't do that.
Fair enough. I guess the larger point then is it's a matter of time before Disney finds their pivot point too, because now we've seen what Amazon's pivot point is. There's always something. There's always hopping to the next excuse for why something can't just make money. And clearly Amazon was ready. They had that card ready to go. They're able to say it's a holistic approach. Disney can't, but they're thinking and they're paying attention.
I just want to know what's Amazon's biggest disaster: the rocket that blew up or Rings of Power?
Probably Rings of Power.
And Amazon,
at least they learned something, right, from the rocket that blew up. You could say, like, all right, well, we learned something and now we can move forward. Rings of Power is a disaster.
The thing about Amazon is, why would you not be investing in getting Project Hail Mary 2 going as fast as possible? Like, screw all this other stuff. Do that. If you can get Andy Weir on board, do that. Key Lee the Light. Keel the Light.
Keyleth.
Keyleth Light.
Keyleth.
Are you sure it's not a play on words? Keel the Light?
No. It is Keyleth. Yeah, that's a character from Critical Role.
Oh, I see the little guy over there now. Okay, Keyleth Light. Okay. Wiz, you know so much more than we. 999. First live stream. Really enjoy your commentary. We've lost him now because I couldn't pronounce the name. Way to go, bro. Way to go, bro. First live stream. Really enjoy your commentary. Never underestimate the power of ego. I mean, the woke machine and the lunacy, too. Then has U.S. and the world. We are the world. All right. Well, thank you, Keyleth? Wiz, is that what you say it?
Keyleth, yeah.
Who is Keyleth in the game or the story?
She's the red-headed druid.
Okay.
That's
Red-headed
the best way
druid.
to describe her. Yeah, red-headed druid.
All right. Those red-headed druids will get you every time. Vinchu's Bruma for 5. Wiz, the problem with Disney using the Amazon strategy is Amazon has way more money and a lot less debt to play that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said before. It's just a matter of where is the pivot point, and Disney's looking for theirs.
We've got John for 5. Remember, war games, the only way to win is to not play. I don't think there is anything they can do with Star Wars at this point. Maybe. We'll see. And we've got John again for 5. Pro as a Star Trek character would be interesting. How would he pass his Kobayashi Maru? Notice I didn't say, would he? And we've got Jeff Patton out there gifting 5 Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Jeff. We appreciate you lifting us up just like Snarky, just like John Maynor. Folks, what a great day. What a great way to share time together.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what?
Let's go.
Jabba, right?
Oh no!
It's a Sarlacc!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys, this is...
We used to stop after the girl went, wah! Now we have to go to the fist sniff every single time. Thank you, Lauren. Thanks, buddy.
Still my favorite part. I cannot believe you guys have never seen that.
Just smells so great. Where have my hands been? That's
the way he described it, though. It was, oh, yeah, the girl sniffing her fists. What?
What are we doing here, Lord? What are we doing here? All right. Well, Steven Spielberg is asking the same thing about himself. Folks, we got one more story before the humanity-changing topic we'll be going to after this. Hang tight. Let's talk about Spielberg perhaps trying to deconvert Christians and Jews. Say what? You know, I remember the days when you could go to a summer blockbuster and it was just about fun. Aliens, blowing up the White House, and I'm back, Cousin Eddie flying his ship up into him. alien films like, Third Encounter, like you didn't have to go all weird on us. You could go to Star Trek and Star Wars, but now from the Christian Post, Steven Spielberg says new Disclosure Day film will raise theological questions. And let's just say this is not being well received. This is by John Brown, Christian Post reporter. It says director Steven Spielberg suggested during a Sunday interview that his new film about extraterrestrials might raise theological questions among some Christians regarding the nature of the cosmos. Speaking with Turner Classic Movies host Ben Mankiewicz on CBS News Sunday morning, Spielberg said Disclosure Day, his upcoming movie about a meteorologist and cybersecurity expert exposing the government's cover-up of extraterrestrial secrets, will touch on the implications such a revelation would have for religious people. There's a faction in the film that represents a pretty good position of why, possibly because of ontological shock, social dislocation, if this is true. We're just known overnight if the government announced, yes, we've been keeping this from you since 1947, that would mess up a lot of people. Spielberg also said the film, one of whose characters is a former Roman Catholic nun, also takes the position of the Catholic Church. What does this do to the fundamental beliefs that many of us have? Is God our God only on this planet, or is God a God for every system where there's civilization, intelligent life, and even developing life? Before I even play the clip from Spielberg, I just want to say this is the lowest level thinking presented as the deepest I believe I've seen. I mean, this is like saying, do you want to do a swan dive into the 1-inch puddle of water? Is God our God only on this planet, or is God a God for every system? I'm sorry. At what point did Christians and Jews not believe that God is the God of the cosmos? God is the God of the universe and everything that's been made, the singular source for everything, the original agent of creation.
Just remember, this guy made Rachel Zegler.
Jeez Louise. Well, I wish he'd go back to that, honestly. All right, here's the clip. We're going to play it from Shadow of Ezra. And it's hosted, I believe, on CBS. We always have to be ridiculously careful about playing stuff on CBS. In fact, I'll just tell you, folks, we're going to play it because we have to. Otherwise, you won't know what's going on. And when we play it, we're going to get dinged. So super chat's needed because we're going to lose all the financial incentive of doing the show by doing this. But otherwise, you don't know what we're talking about. Here's Spielberg. Here's what he says.
What does this do to the fundamental beliefs that many of us have? And, is God our God only on this planet? Or is God a God for every system where there's civilization, intelligent life, and even developing life?
Oh, boy.
Okay. So Spielberg, and this is going all over the news, is the idea that this is going to make people doubt their faith or whatever. I mean, this is so simple a question. If this makes you question anything, maybe you need to go back to 101. Wiz, well, Lauren, you had something to say. Hop in real quick.
I was just going to say Harrison would have the proper response. It's not that kind of movie, kid.
It's not that kind of movie, Stephen. Yeah, we've had alien movies forever. We've never had a theological, crushing situation where we can't figure out what this would mean. Everybody already knows what it means. If you believe in God and there are aliens, then God made the aliens because he made the moon and the stars and the sun and the sky. And this is not hard. Wiz, why are we marketing this movie this way? That's the real question. Yeah. There is no theist out there who is shaken in their beliefs right now by any of this. So why are we marketing this way?
I think it's really wonderful that Hollywood, of all places, of all people, think that it's a really good idea and a really ample time to make believers question their faith. What a wonderful time to do that. As if there's a good time to do that. But right now, of all times, we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, really. And this is not the first time that this has happened. If we look back to 2011, 2012, the release of Ridley Scott's Prometheus did something extremely similar. I don't know if any of you guys saw Prometheus. The entire premise of Prometheus is that they sold this thing as a prequel to the Alien series, the Aliens, except the real story is that, no, it was an alien species that created human beings. And then that's the whole premise, is that actually we weren't created by God. We were created by aliens, and that Jesus Christ himself is one of those engineers that we then crucified, and that they were actually going to destroy humanity after we killed Jesus, that Jesus was an alien.
Have you ever noticed how it's always one religion or two religions that take the brunt of all of this, and they never mix the other stuff in it? I can't imagine why. I don't know why
that's the thing. That's the thing, bro. It's not two religions. It's really one. So, and it's usually focused on one particular guy, and it usually happens to be going after Jesus, right? Like that's the question. That's usually the question that's put forward. In this case, Disclosure Day. Like, we haven't seen it yet. I'll be seeing it on opening day just so we can cover it here. Now I'm not excited at all.
Well, that's the marketing.
No, I'm not excited at all.
This is such a dumb marketing decision. You know, Andy, it's like this, okay? Back in the 80s, there was a show. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, okay? There was a show called Alf. And there was never a time, Andy, in my life when I heard, "Hey, Willie, where's the cat? Ha, I kill me." There's never a time that I saw Alf running around and I thought, you know, that really makes me question my fundamental axiomatic beliefs as to the cosmos. What is going on, Andy, that this is how Hollywood now? Spielberg should know better than this. Does he not even care anymore? Is he like, well, let's just West Side Story this thing again? Like, this is the worst marketing strategy in the history of marketing strategies. Come on down to the alien blockbuster movie and we'll make you question your faith. Your kids won't be Christians or Jews anymore after this one.
Spielberg used to know how to just entertain people. Back in 78, when we had Battlestar Galactica, what did it start off with? There are those who believe that life here began out there, and had this whole epic, song, a theme, and whatnot brings you in there. And this isn't really anything new, but it's a stupid thing to bring up. And I mean, you bring up a great point with that, because it's like Madonna, like, look, I'm going to be edgy and I'm going to gyrate on a cross, but there's certain other elements that she won't touch because, well, she's got reasons for that. And this is just a really, really stupid thing to do before your movie opens, because you know that the public is so hyper fixated on really, especially one side, looking for things that are disparaging things that you hold dear and that you hold sacred. And the idea that in this time where you're looking how important a blockbuster is and a really successful movie, it's the same thing with Christopher Nolan. You take things and it's like you're intentionally steering towards the iceberg. This is the dumbest take you could possibly imagine, because, I heard this said once, that people of faith only struggle with one question, like, why do good people suffer? Other than that, the answer is God took care of everything else. But people with no faith have to answer everything else. How did this happen? How did music come? How did we go from rocks to Mozart? How did we get to there? It's like you have to try and find ways to answer for all those things. People of faith can just say, like, well, that's God's will. Like, and the only thing that I can't jive with this is why, the little kids get cancer or something like that. And hopefully someday you understand that when, you meet the guy. But this is about the dumbest thing you could possibly do, especially when not just Spielberg, but like, we haven't had a huge hit. We've had movies that have done pretty well, but we haven't had, we're well past the Force Awakens box offices and the Endgame box offices. Right now it's such a dearth, and to think that there's anything you could do that, and I guess maybe because he's Steven Spielberg and he thinks he can say whatever he is because he's Steven Spielberg. But how many moviegoers today even know who Steven Spielberg is? I talk to younger people that have never seen Jaws. I mean, and there's even some crazy guy that doesn't think Jaws is a very good movie with his criticalist thing. Sorry, Blaine. But Steven Spielberg does not have the clout that he used to have anymore. And Hollywood doesn't have the clout that they used to have anymore. And I think Spielberg has just been surrounded in that echo chamber too long, and where these ideas are kind of thrown out there, where they look down at people that actually have faith.
Lauren, let's nerd out for a minute and let's pretend like we're the better versions of Neil deGrasse Tyson. Can we do that for just a minute, Lauren? Will you join me on that quest?
I guess if we have to.
We have to, Lauren. So the Fermi paradox, right? The idea that space is a really big place, but we don't see any signs of intelligent life out there. I don't know that we're ever going to find intelligent life in the vast array of the cosmos. It may be this strange
I don't know
thing
that we're ever going to find intelligent life here.
Are you
it
sure?
may be, Lauren, that we are on a long adventure, and that we are the source of consciousness in the universe. And I think that actually drives the Hollywoods a little bit mad. I think the Hollywoods hate the idea that we are the conscious creatures that, because they have been pretending now for decades that we're a virus on the face of the earth, that we're a calamity. We're destroying nature itself by being here. And I think that Spielberg, man, he's obsessed with aliens. And I think it's getting to them where they're creating these kind of like quasi-religious beliefs that they put out that are just so strange and bizarre. And they're not deep. They're not philosophically dense. And, I don't think if we find out there are microbes on Mars, which could happen, I don't think that changes anything about anybody's faith. I think the only thing that would cause people to, reevaluate some things, and I still don't think it would then, is if we found supremely intelligent life out there. But so far that hasn't happened. And I think that the longer this goes and we don't see intelligent civilizations out there, I think it's less and less likely unless those civilizations exist in like dark matter. Who knows what could be in dark matter? It's like 70% of whatever constitutes the universe, and we have no idea what the heck it is or how to, so maybe intelligence lives in that, but we just don't know. And I think Spielberg is taking a very, very weak theological, conflict and pretending like this is the thing that's going to drive people to go watch a movie.
All right, so there's two ways that I can answer this, and one of them I think is the one that you just gave, which is that we're discussing this as though Spielberg is trying to be profound. What Spielberg is doing is trying to hype a movie, and that's why he's
with
saying
fake profundity.
Right, and there's some people that are saying. Some people are suggesting that maybe he was working with the government so that they could soft disclose. And it's like, no, I don't think so.
I hope
but
he is.
I would also say if we're going to look at this in a more a deeper way, if I was going to take this a little more seriously, I tend to look at things from a slightly skewed perspective. I don't really get into my religious beliefs a whole lot because I don't want to shove anything that I believe on other people.
Come on, Lord, dive into it. Let's have at it. What do you got?
He's a Pastafarian.
The way that I look at it is that, look, I can understand why people would be a little panicked about people with religious beliefs because in this the way that you were phrasing it, space is really, 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 really big. It's really, really big. It is so giant. And the saying that when you look into the abyss also looks at you. If you look into that giant, vast abyss and we are the only thing, that is a terrifying thought.
That's a panel from Calvin and Hobbes that I love.
But I look at it in reverse. The way I look at it is, part of what gives me belief in a divine being is if you believe that we are in a Goldilocks zone, and we are, look at every other planet that we have seen. The vast majority of them are giant balls of gas, rock, in inhospitable conditions, and yet on this planet, any place that you have just a little bit of water, just a little bit, life springs in abundance.
Life finds a way.
That in itself is a miracle. You look at a split piece of concrete that gets a little bit of dirt and a little bit of water in there, and flowers spring forth from it, and the roots drive the concrete apart. That in itself is a miracle.
They call that legendary. They call that legendary mode in the plant world, by the way.
Because we are here and because we are so accustomed to be surrounded by life, it appears to be normal. I assure you, viewer, it is not. The vast reaches of space are empty and silent and cold and designed to kill everything out there. This is the haven where life exists. And that I think is something that we need to be a little more cognizant of.
I think if we spent more time in movies treasuring the consciousness that exists here and recognizing the miracle that it is, I think that would be a better message for the world.
Yeah.
Wiz, I felt like I was hanging for your final thought, but I may have misjudged it.
I I have a real I love everything that Lauren just said. I want to throw I actually want to throw a hope core caveat out there. The fact that all of the other planets, as inhospitable as they are typically loaded with resources that we use for things, just means that the cosmos is our playground. If we are the only ones here, then it's then space is ours to conquer, and that is the final frontier.
Let's go exploring, eh? That's the kind of movie I can get behind. That's why Project Hail Mary is likely to outdo this one, because it got things right. And Rocky, Amaze, didn't make anybody say, "Oh, maybe I don't believe in the divine anymore." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the panel a man who has not been here in far too long. I'm constantly saying, Jonathan, how do we get you back on the Pro show? And tonight we've got the story that'll do just that. Jonathan, welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Jonathan, since it's been a while, could you tell folks out there who you are, what you do, and what is Exploring Tolkien?
Wow. Well, there's a lot in there. So, my cathartic outlet is Exploring Tolkien. It's a podcast we do. I've been a Lord of the Rings fan for many years, and so I've been running theonering.com since 1999. And we do a podcast. Look it up. We do an app now with the podcast and everything like that. So that's pretty much my MO. But my day job is a lot of coding, a lot of AI work, stuff like that.
And that's why you're here. We're going to be talking about a lot of AI stuff. Folks, just so you know, and by the way, I'm getting a little bit of an echo, Jonathan. We may be getting a bleed over of my audio into your mic. Folks, that's going to be difficult. What we're looking at right now is the technological singularity that has been talked about for decades. They say it might be here. So let's take a look at that, folks. But first, the super chats and see what you have to say. And by the way, why are we going to talk about the technological singularity? Because it has huge ramifications about entertainment and what's going on there. Hang tight. Keyleth is out there for $4.99. It's Keyleth. Keyleth, Wiz. You should have known that. Keyleth, not Keyleth. Keyleth. Accent on the left. Yeah. Name is actually in Player's Handbook for elves as a suggestion. She didn't make it up. LOL. It's in the book.
You got me there.
It's in the game. Paul 12,000 for 2. Trolling. Wilton's bringing trolling. Floral Raid. John for 5. There's a wacky theory going around that the movie is actually done in conjunction with the government to soft reveal the real aliens. I don't know that Trump and Spielberg get along real well.
It would be embarrassing if this movie tanked and that was true.
Yeah. Also, given the way civilization works, I think if aliens were revealed, everybody'd just be like, eh.
It would be funny if Trump was trolling him, though, and said, look, we got this whole cache full of things proving aliens, and we want you to soft reveal it. And then Spielberg goes out and says all of this stuff and says it, yeah, and the president told me. And Trump says, new phone, who dis?
That's right.
I don't know what he's talking about. I never even spoke with the guy. I was at the Knicks game, okay? Greatest ball game ever because I was there.
New Rad for 5. Honestly, first thought that came to mind was, yes, Stephen, that is the point of it all. God is all creation, not just us. Seems obvious to me. All right, shall we try attempt number 2 with Jonathan? Jonathan, unmutify. We'll see how we're doing now.
Is that any better?
Maylard for 2. Alf is brought up, and Mexican Iron Man isn't here. Still getting a little bit of a... do you guys hear it, or is it just me? They hear it too. I'm sorry, Jonathan. We'll get it figured out. We've got CP dropping 5 pro memberships. Thank you indeed. And you know what? We just don't say this enough. The radioactive hamsters, the pellets are expensive, okay? Thank you for feeding our little friends. We appreciate you. Joppy is out there for 200 crowns. Joppy says, not going to let you diss Spielberg. Objectively speaking. Joppy, when people say objectively speaking, oftentimes it's not going to be objective what they say. I just want to warn you, I haven't read the rest of the message. I'm just letting you know how this sometimes works. Objectively speaking, humans use religion to give meaning to themselves. So referring to that self-centric view of Alpha Omega, what he said becomes properly philosophical of theist definitions. I think that humans use religion but they also use worldview to give meaning to themselves. And I would say that it's inherent psychologically. Humans create an inner narrative about their world and where they are in it that they use to derive the meaning for life. I think the fact that you get out of bed signals that you have a determination of meaning. So unless you stayed in bed and you just said, woe be me, I'm staying here forever, you've got some kind of meaning that you've assigned to whatever it is that you're doing. You have to have a reason for the objectives that you set out to complete. I'm not sure that it's limited to just religion, but it's an interesting topic. And maybe, Joppy, we can get you back on a panel sometime and dive deep into it. Guys, any other thoughts on that one before we move on? All right.
Yeah, we could diss Spielberg. He invented Rachel Zegler.
No, not the Zeg. Detail Devil for 499. Lauren stole my idea. I proposed in Super Chat last year, Kathleen Kennedy's 7 through 9, Empress Ray's agitprop for her Jedi Sith. Her kid joins New Rebels. He liked where I was going. He would be like that.
I'm a dirty thief.
Dirty, dirty thief. Jobby for 50 crowns. When is the next member panel? And if a queue system, then when do you think I can get a second chance to redeem myself from last time? Joppy, you're fine. You don't have to redeem. We had a good time with you. Joppy, I'm not sure. It's the beginning of June. We tend to do the member panels towards the end of the months. So hang tight. CP's dropping another 5. CP, you know what? This calls for a flat-out celebration.
Perfect.
We've got Paul 12,000 for 2. We'll become Star Trek before too long. Maybe real soon. 365 Ralph for 5. Spielberg would get his answer watching the first episode of VeggieTales. Yeah, that's I wish I'd had that line. Yeah, that's a good line.
Great line.
Keyleth Light for 499. Wiz, you're Gucci. I've been playing since the 80s.
I've been playing since the 2010s.
Noob. Cyrano has gifted a membership. And KB Hugs, thank you, Cyrano. KB Hugs for 199. Power to the Niners. Religious epiphanies from Hollyweird. How amusing. And then finally, we've got Paul 12,000 again for 2 radioactive hamsters from a planet near Mars. Paul, you figured out the reference to the radioactive hamsters. Not bad. Not bad, eh? Cyrano for 5. Speak wise, Council of the Bearded Ones. Quick, get a clean-shaven man on the screen.
Is that any better?
I'm sorry, Jonathan. It's not. So, Jonathan, here's going to be the plan. You mute, except when you speak, and then mute back again when, you get the idea. We'll get there. I don't know. Jonathan, my guess, we don't want to spend time doing tech support, but my guess is it's related to the StreamYard settings if you go into your audio and the output, all that. Wiz might be able to help you out behind the scenes. All right, well, we're going to dive in, folks, to a heck of a story. I mean, something we don't typically do. I'll get this one real quick before we do so. Renosaurus for 5. Mankind can't even handle cell phones. People think they can handle AI. What a joke. Well, that's where we're going next because the technological singularity may have just started. How's that for a segue, Jonathan? You ready for that kind of an intro?
Yeah, if I heard what you said, I'm having problems here, apparently. I'm going to blame my
Okay.
back.
We're going to walk you through. Hang tight, Jonathan. We're going to get through this together forever. All right, folks, let's talk about it. The ramifications for humanity and entertainment could not be bigger, could not be brought, and our AI expert is gone. Well, that's going to make this segment a little bit more challenging. But hang tight, folks. The show must go on. We'll get Jonathan back ASAP. But for now, get ready. This is a big one. Welcome to the technological singularity. At least that's what some are saying. And it may be a pivot point in the history of humanity. The ramifications on entertainment, technology, and everything else you can imagine. It's almost impossible to possibly encapsulate how big this is. Cyber Magazine says, Anthropic, what happens when AI learns to design itself? This is by Ritula Nisha. It says, if AI becomes capable of redesigning itself, misalignment could pose an existential threat to humanity, prompting Anthropic to call for a pause. And that's right. One of the leading companies out there, one of the frontier models, Anthropic, with their Claude system, they are calling for a pause. And I don't know that it's real. They've blocked me with an ad, but that's okay. We'll go straight to Anthropic itself. They have an article out, a blog post they've made called When AI Builds Itself. And they've essentially said in this, and you can go read it yourselves, folks, that that now we have recursive self-improvement in AI, which means that the computers can now improve themselves. And the prediction is that will result in like a 100x improvement over the next year. And so they're saying that this is so powerful, so impressive, so amazing that we need to be ready now for a huge change in everything. It says, for most of AI's history, humans drove every step in its development cycle. But at Anthropic, we are delegating a growing share of AI development to AI systems themselves, which is speeding up our work. Taken far enough and given enough compute, that trend points to an AI system capable of fully autonomously designing and developing its own successor. This is called recursive self-improvement. We are not there yet, and recursive self-improvement is not inevitable. But it could come sooner than most institutions are prepared for. The prediction is that it's coming by the end of 2027. And you can see here that they've given us a little graph that's very interactive. That's Q-Day. And here's what it's pointing out. How did things work at first in AI? Person, computer, code. Then what did we get? Person, computer with a chatbot helper, code. Then we got person, computer, chatbot plus an agent, code. We are currently maybe still at a person with a computer and a chatbot works with an agent who has 6 other agents all working together to make code. And the next step over the next year is the computers just do it. It says in the future, agents could become capable enough to build and train models themselves. If this happens, future versions of Claude could be continuously improved by Claude itself. Now, the big news here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Elon Musk made this happen and gave the lead to Anthropic over OpenAI. We'll explain how in just a minute. And the changes that are going to be felt all through entertainment and every other area of life are immense. We're going to stop over, though, right quick with Peter Diamandis over at the Moonshots podcast and hear what they have to say about this momentous occasion. Here we go. Here is Peter Diamandis talking about it.
Trend holds. Anthropic is saying that by the end of 2027, Claude will be able to do week-long tasks on its own. And here's the stunning news. After you put all this data together, after the trajectory charts, a company that's about to IPO for $1 trillion with 640% user growth is causing a stir by calling for a temporary pause on global frontier AI. Marina Favreau and Jack Clark wrote, quote, "We believe it would be good for the world to have the option to slow or temporarily pause frontier AI development to enable societal structures and alignment research to keep up with the advancements of this technology." Gents, I read that. Alex, you sent me that tweet, and I was like, okay, we need to talk about this.
We'll come back to what Alex has to say in just a minute, but I want to go to Jonathan first as an expert in AI. Jonathan, people may not understand why this is a big deal. I mean, it's so huge in so many ways, but in terms of entertainment, let's talk about the ramifications, because when it comes to gaming, for example, we are now on the precipice, and it may be here, where computers can generate games and they can do it 100 times faster than humans. We may be at the point now where computers, aka AI, can create full-blown TV shows without humans there. I mean, the announcement, we thought this was coming in 2029, and it seems to be here. And the prediction from Anthropic is it's really, really here by the end of next year. And they're warning the nations to prepare for this. Jonathan, what are your thoughts? Is this a spooky, kooky sci-fi that's out there in bizarro land? Are we making much to do about nothing? Or is this real, and is it happening and most people just don't know?
Well, I hope my audio is okay. If not, I'll just push through it.
You're perfect.
Okay, good. It's incredible how fast it's gone, right? From a year ago to now is magnitudes of, I don't even know how to do it, because now most of my time, if I'm building a solution or because I have clients that I work with and I'm building new things, and most of my time is spent managing AIs rather than actually doing anything. And so even this article says, Anthropic says, right, the bottleneck is going to be just reviewing code. It's not even going to be like understanding how it works or anything like that. It's just going to be like, oh, does it do what it says it does? Okay, great. We're going to move on. I'm in this sort of state of like, man, this is super exciting, but holy crap, it's really scary, because once it starts iterating on itself and building things, and I don't know, another piece of information that sort of ties into this is something that Peter, is it Steiberger, the guy who does OpenClaw, the guy who started that, I can't remember his name exactly, but he pointed out, it's like, now you don't do prompts anymore, you do loops, which is essentially say you give it some guidelines, you tell it where you want to go, you have it look at your repository and any bugs that are reported and things like that, and it just iterates. It's just constantly moving. It's just constantly building. You're not even really involved with it. And so we're really almost at that place already. The question is we still don't really understand how AI does everything that it does, right? We don't. It's not like we can look at the code and go like, oh, it's doing this because of this. It's making its own connections and it's creating things without our input. And that's a scary place to go. And I've seen both ends of the sci-fi tale end well and end poorly, right? We've got Terminator, but then we've also got Star Trek, the good Star Trek, before before 2009 Star Trek. We're not talking about the rest of that. That's pretty bad. Here's the thing: is I don't think that AI. We're not in Terminator level territory, but in the territory where we don't understand what it's doing, that's really the more scary part for me, because we don't really see what it's doing. I mean, Claude, what did they say? Something like, I don't remember how much. I'm trying to find it in the article here where they talk about how many 80% of the code merged into Anthropic's code base is authored by AI now. So even Anthropic isn't building their own code, right? They don't know what it's doing.
Well, if 80%, that's why I'm saying that we are in the technological singularity, and many people don't know what that means, but the fact that 80% of the AI is now being written by the AI.
Yeah.
I mean, we're there, and it's just going to keep improving. Well, and part of what it says, Jonathan, is that by next year, they expect that the model will be capable of handling a week's worth of work for an entire team of humans, and it can crush that in hours at night.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the only limit is going to be cost, because it still costs a ton of money. Energy, I mean, money, like who's willing to spend it? Another article I read was, I think, was it Meta, somebody, or was it Uber, who they burned through their entire year's worth of their AI budget in 4 months. And so they gave a limit per month of everybody on their team to only use $1,500 worth of AI tokens.
But if you're Anthropic, I mean, these AI companies, OpenAI, SpaceX, these companies are now $1 trillion companies. They have almost unlimited, and the government, I think, is going to get involved in them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And since they have the unlimited usage for it, they can start controlling the narrative. They can start controlling the code that's building it. And the other scary thing is, who's going to learn how to code anymore? Who's going to know what's good and what's bad? There is no
and we have to have that. Yeah, we have to have that. It's the same paradox of, okay, let's say like Teslas can drive themselves and they're really impressive now, right? Okay, you still need to know how to drive. I don't know why in 30 years you need to know how to drive, but I'm pretty sure, like, it feels right to me that everybody needs to know how to drive. And teenagers probably don't need to be having their Tesla or their Rivian drive them around, because they need to know how to do the thing. Now, I want to point out something that I think almost everybody is missing here. And Wiz, I'm going to go to you on this, because I know that you're also a huge fan of this. In fact, everybody in the panel, I think, is tuned into what's happening. Elon Musk did this, and nobody is recognizing this, really. Elon Musk is the person who moved the schedule up. So we all thought that the projections were that we would be reaching recursive self-improvement in AI in 2029-ish, maybe 2028. We're now going to be at that point fully, totally within a year. And maybe we're already here. Maybe they're just soft walking this announcement. But Elon Musk did this. And the way he did it is ingenious. Because if we go back just a little while ago, June 4th, Elon Musk's new role, why SpaceX just became a neo cloud for Anthropic. Now, SpaceX, which runs the Colossus data center, just cut a deal with Anthropic to give them access to Colossus 1 and now Colossus 2. And the revenue that's being generated by that is doubling the SpaceX funds that are coming in. Now, he does not like Sam Altman over at OpenAI. But he's cut a deal with Colossus 1 and 2 with Anthropic's Claude, and the money here is crazy. And giving Anthropic access to Colossus 1 and 2 is what has opened up now the computation starvation that they were facing. They had a cap. They couldn't get through that. And look at the timeline here. May 6th, after Tom Brown says in the next few days, we'll be ramping up Claude interference on Colossus. Grateful to be operating or partnering with SpaceX here. Elon says, same here. By way of background for those who care, I spent a lot of time last week with senior members of the Anthropic team to understand what they do to ensure Claude is good for humanity and was impressed. Everyone I met with was highly competent and cared a great deal about doing the right thing. No one set off my evil detector. So long as they engage in critical self-examination, Claude will probably be good. After that, I was okay leasing Colossus 1 to Anthropic, as SpaceX AI had already moved to training in Colossus 2. They've now given them Colossus 2. I think they'll start building Colossus 3. I think you're going to have the data center of all data centers sitting in Memphis, Tennessee, with Elon Musk running the thing. And now he is the guy through SpaceX who delivers AI, both on the Terran infrastructure and in orbital infrastructure. He defeated Sora. He took down OpenAI. And I think he's going to use Grok to revolutionize entertainment, while the coding revolution and the technological singularity happens on his infrastructure. This is an amazing way to pull this off. What do you make of it, Wiz?
Wowie. Look, it's every day. I think to just kind of echo what Jonathan was saying, it's like where we've come in the last year. No, where we've come in the last 6 months has been wild in the AI space. But what's been pretty interesting is it seems like all of these AI companies have had to make choices of where do they focus on and what kind of features do they focus on. There's image generation, there's video generation, there's code generation, there's I think gaming is going to be another one, and there's plenty of other offshoots like office work. Working in corporate, where does this best fit into corporate America with different tools? I think Elon has been pretty clear about this, and I think everything changed, at least from my perception of where Elon stands on all this, when he did the Rogan podcast and he talked about like why and where his position is when it comes to AI, and if we don't fight, then we're going to lose control over this thing. And it'll be, and whether it turns into a Terminator or not, maybe that's a little bit more, maybe that leans on the sci-fi of it all, but it could happen. I think it's more so, and I think he also has a position on this. If the bad guys win, then the bad guys win forever. There's no beating.
Yep. And China cannot win. China cannot get to.
I don't know if it's even just China. I think there would be bad guys in the States too. I wouldn't exactly deem Sam Altman as a good guy myself.
I'm with you.
I think
100%.
Elon's playing games, and I think he also realizes Anthropic they are not going to be stopped.
So put him on his infrastructure and get because now they can't go anywhere. There's nowhere else like Colossus 1, 2, and 3. We know that'll come to be. Elon has essentially taken control, even though his frontier model is a little bit farther behind than he wanted it to be, I believe. So, it's a genius move.
Well, we also have to consider that, so there's Elon is playing. I don't want to say 4D chess because it sounds ridiculous, but he's playing at least 3D chess here, because the AI game, he gets to stand by what he said of like, hey, we get to make sure the bad guys don't win with AI. Okay, well, that's great. But that's also that he doesn't lose with AI. So, tails I win, heads you lose. But also everything that he's trying to do with space requires AI. And he said this as well. So why not just ally with the companies that he believes can be trusted, empower them to be better, but then also have some kind of elevated oversight to working with them, some kind of in to be able to be a voice of, I don't want to give him too much credit and say like, oh, he's a voice of reason, but to at least ally the people making the changes, the people building these things. That makes the most sense.
He essentially now is the leaseor. He owns the property upon which the AI sits. I mean, that's amazing what he has pulled off here. Jonathan, there are people out there, though, who don't understand what this is, and we're going to get to the rest of the panel, I promise, as well as the additional clip from Moonshots. But Jonathan, you live in the AI world. There are a lot of people who are against strongly AI. I tend to think that they only are thinking about AI in terms of job loss and that sort of thing. I actually think this goes the opposite way. I think that people who want to work will be able to be more productive, like in ways that are unimaginable today. Like I think a single person can make a video game very, very, very soon. Like a full-blown looks like Activision Blizzard made it video game, and I think everybody who wants to be a producer is going to be able to produce at levels that are unimaginable. What have you seen in just the last 6 months leading up to today, Jonathan, behind the scenes?
The problem before 6 months ago has been memory. How much can you feed AI in order to solve the problems that you give it? And so in the last 6 months, especially since I use Claude most of the time, the ability to work through problems that are large, extensive, or build applications that are large and they require a lot of memory, like it's able to do so much more than it's ever done. And it's not slowing down, right? It's not, look at it this way. It's sort of like you were saying, like the idea that right, there's more opportunity now than ever before for people. There's also more opportunity for, I think, corruption and bad use of AI. I mean, the amount of problems I've seen, because I build websites and I build code and things like that, the amount of problems with attacks on sites is now astronomical because it's using AI and to create all this here. And so we're in this battle to build new applications, to build new solutions, to find things. And if you're not on the forefront of this thing, it's sort of like if you decided, back during the Industrial Revolution, you realize, I'm going to still keep picking all my crops by hand. I am not going to do anything like that. Eventually, you're toast. You're gone. Yep. And so it is an opportunity for people who are willing to embrace it. However, the guardrails do need to hold in some ways. Right? The opportunity for corruption is intense in this too.
And the time is running out for people to make the switch. People either are going to, there's a philosophical debate, right? And you can have the philosophical debate, but the problem is, like Elon said, you're not going to be playing the sport unless you get on the court right now. This is it. So I want to go back to the Moonshots guy. To give people an idea of why we're talking about this tonight, though, in terms of entertainment, this is going to change everything. Gaming, TV, streaming, everything. And when Anthropic warns, we're going to, because of this recursive self-improvement, we expect a 100x upgrade. Folks, if I told you that, no, your car's not going to be twice as good next year, that would be like, how? How would my car be twice as good? I can't even imagine. No, your car's not going to be 3 times as good. How? How could you do that? It's going to be 100 times better. Like, the human mind can't handle that. Yeah. The human mind can't. We struggle to be able to figure out, well, what would 100 times better look like, right? Like if your house, if I said, we're going to double the quality of your house and the size of your house, you'd say, wow, that's incredible. Well, okay, by next year, we're going to 100x your home. I mean, okay. These are astronomical things as we reach this takeoff point. Okay, let's go back to Moonshots for a minute. I want people to hear what the experts are saying, and then we're going to get the panel in even more.
Alex, let's go to you first.
I define the Singularity as sometimes, tongue-in-cheek, as all sci-fi tropes happening everywhere all at once. Well, there's a universe in which we get UBI or UBE at the same time as the federal government getting golden shares in the frontier labs, at the same time that we get recursive self-improvement, at the same time that we get an AI pause all happening at once, or at least an AI slowdown. It would require them all actually happening at once, I think, for the latter part of that announcement, the notion of Anthropic calling for a global coordinated slowdown in recursive self-improvement research. But it's not impossible. It's not necessarily desirable, but it's not impossible.
Let's hold there. Lauren, Anthropic is saying that they're about to be so powerful, and that the other AI frontier models are about to be so powerful that, like the Cuban Missile Crisis, that all countries of the world need to come together and slow this down because it's going to be so disruptive. What are your thoughts on this as we get to this point where people can make their own TV shows, their own games, everything, just single prompt it, go to bed, wake up, and the thing is made? What are your thoughts on the idea that it even could slow down?
So I got a whole bunch of things to touch on there. The first is that the issue with asking everybody to slow down is essentially the prisoner's dilemma. You're going to make the calculation that it is in your best interest not to do that, while saying that you are going to. So nobody's going to do it. When you're talking about the issue of single prompting a solution, that's not the way it works. You may be able to loop for multiple solutions, but what you are asking for is going to be subjective to how you view reality, and you're going to have to reprompt to get the exact thing that you want. I think, for me, there are 2 issues with AI that I think we'll see addressed within the next few years. One is that there have been some mistakes and some big ones that have happened with AI, but we haven't had a Hindenburg moment yet. And that will happen eventually. And that will cause people to pause for a moment and consider maybe we should be a little more careful with what we're playing with here. It's kind of like gunpowder, you know? It's like when you first discover how to make it, it's all fun and games until you lose your eyebrows. And then you start thinking about how do we properly contain this and play with it carefully. The other thing is that you know that compared to the everybody else on this panel, I tend to be more cautious when it comes to the framing of AI. And a lot of that is not because of AI itself, it's because of people. I'm worried about people. We're really, really good at creating things that appear conversational and that appear intelligent, and we tend to be trusting, especially when we cannot detect that there is something that is not conscious there. Given that, I think we're going to have a tendency to trust a thing that is very convincing at sounding like it's an expert. And if you're not an expert in a thing, and you trust another thing to be an expert that is very good at telling you it is when maybe it's not, that's where you can lead to that Hindenburg event, and that's dangerous. We're designing a machine that is very good at sounding credible, and I think there's some real danger there that we're not properly addressing.
Andy and Lauren, I take your points well taken. We'll talk about it in just a second more in detail. But Andy, if we see a 100x improvement in these models next year, or from now until the end of next year, then I think we go from people looking at AI like, well, it's a weird little toy that some people play with, or it's, a weird little chatbot. You're strange if you use it. It makes, the videos are okay, but they're a little grainy and they're not realistic, to like world changing over the next 18 months. So, Andy, do you think that the future is going to be sort of like a Star Trek kind of path that we're on, or do you think we devolve into chaos? And I just as a small example, how's Hollywood going to react as YouTubers and content creators and independent folks, single person studios make films that devastate them and destroy them, and it's over for Hollywood? Like, they're not going to go down happy about that.
I don't think there's any way that we can be prepared for what's going to happen because there's so much uncertainty. There's going to be entire careers, categories that are going to be wiped out. There's going to be a lot of created because of it. The most important, the biggest problem I see is that people they're already glued to their phone and their computers now. It's only going to get more so when you give them more of what they want, and they get addicted to it. You can't get into an arena where people will unilaterally agree to cease the development of AI because you can't trust other people. Certainly, like you look at China. I've know quite a bit about Chinese history, and they went from being the number one power in the world for 1,000 years, and then getting basically beat up by their neighbors. And they had an idea in their head that they want to be the Chinese government wants to be ruling the world and making the steering wheel, driving the ship. And I don't see any of that changing. So if we slow down, go ahead, slow down. And you know that as soon as you slow down, your opponent is going to speed up. So this is inevitable. It's going to happen. Now it's how people choose to deal with it. I am seeing a lot with the younger generation, like my kids and kids younger than them, have a distaste for AI. They don't like it because it's inauthentic and it's not real. So hopefully there'll be something there that will kind of keep that in check. It's frightening what this is going to be able to do. I think I just saw something the other day where you go into the doctor's office, your doctor is probably using AI. It's got something on a screen. He's probably looking things up while you're in the office describing your symptoms. Lawyers are probably using AI for research. It's going to be in everything. It's going to be able to do things much faster and much better. Now, how does society deal with that? I mean, God, we can't even get people to be self-governing to where they don't damage themselves and things around them on a regular basis. I think you're going to get some people that will. It's just like exercise, right? Everybody knows you should exercise, but maybe 20% of the people actually do it. So I think you can count on a lot of people just abusing this, and you're going to get them into the realm of idiocracy. Hopefully, we'll have some people out there that choose not to be those kinds of people, but I think it's going to be a point of great turmoil. Would it be great if we eventually can get to Star Trek? Yeah, it'd be great. I think we're probably a couple centuries away from that because I see us devolving more so than evolving.
You think there's going to be tremendous conflict before we go to whatever the next step is?
Oh yeah, because like the way the world has always been, where you you find a career, you study for it, and then you get into the career. Well, what happens when you study for the career, you pay for the education, and now the career is no longer there?
Well, I think college is cooked.
Well, and it should be because
It's already
college hasn't
cooked.
kept up with kept up with the times. It hasn't done anything to help themselves. They teach you a bunch of nonsense. I mean, my kids are 26 and 24, and we had to teach them how to write in cursive themselves because they're like, well, what's it? I wanted you to be able to, when we go over to the Constitution Center, look here, you can actually read the Declaration of Independence. And I feel it's important because, like we see it in how long before you can actually watch Blazing Saddles because somebody edited it. I want to have a physical copy and I want to be able to watch something. I want to be able to read it.
Jonathan, as you are the resident expert on AI, you're using it every single day in ways that most people don't even know are possible, and yet it's happening behind the scenes. Jonathan, where do you think we're going over the next 5 years? How much is society going to be transformed? And to Lauren's points that he was making earlier, and Andy is talking about conflicts that could be on the horizon, where do you think this goes? How different is the world in 5 years versus today?
That is the question everybody's asking, because 5 years ago, if you would have asked us, even a year ago, I feel like if you would have asked that, we wouldn't have been right because of how fast things are moving. I think the one thing that we can be assured of is that everything will be different. Like you said, colleges, if you're in an intellectual or data based position, like a lawyer, an accountant, none of those are worthwhile. I mean, we already had plenty of not worthwhile college jobs, like anything that ends in the word arts, generally speaking, isn't a good degree to get. But now it's even more. I have a friend who just started a landscaping business. He was a corporate accountant, and he realized, my job's going to be gone in 1 to 2 years. So he decided to get a real world thing and move on. I think what you're going to see is there will be, this is a weird analogy, but in the same way that we have craft beers, right? Everybody sort of like, you tend to gravitate toward those because there's a little more humanity involved with it. And so the silver lining I feel about this is that we will come to recognize more when something has the human touch, because there's something about AI where there's a distance to it. There's a spark missing, and it's really hard to quantify, to figure out exactly what that is. But when you read something from AI, like I read so much AI stuff, I can tell the phrases. I can see the telltale signs just in the way it speaks now, because there's a certain sort of mealy-mouthed equivocation between everything. For now, that's true. Because AI is still just regurgitating everything that's out there, but it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's really hard to know. Like 5 years from now is forever. But like you said, we are like 100 times better at coding and at generation than we were 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, we all remember the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing. It's perfect now. You can't tell really that when it's fake or not.
Right. And the world has just accepted this. We passed the Turing test, and nobody said anything.
Yeah. My fear is also, well, the other thing is like, there's that human touch, but then we will get an entire community of people that are living inside their AI culture, their AI community, and they don't have real humanity, and they will think that interacting with their chatbot, interacting with a website that has a chat, right? That's their interaction.
Romantic relationships. Yep.
That's happening, and it's scary. It's real.
Yep.
That's real. That's been around since like a couple AI models ago.
Right.
So some of the things that we're paying attention to, in addition to make your own movies, compete with Hollywood if you want to, You got to have the motivation. You got to be like, it's not for everybody, but if you want to be a content creator, you can do this kind of stuff. Make your own video games. Like, in addition to this kind of stuff, Jonathan, we're looking at what? Maybe radical life extension. We're looking at, absolutely defeating math. Like, there's no more stuff to figure out about math. Like, AI is just going to, figure out all of the final problems and the frontiers of math and physics. And then God only knows what that opens up. We could be looking at a future where, everybody has a robot in the house, and then the robot does everything, and you don't go to the grocery store because you built a greenhouse, and the robot is taking care of all the plants and cooks your meal and blah, blah, blah. Like, it gets crazy on the 10-year horizon.
Yeah, and even that though, that's not like that's us projecting out still. Like the a lot of that is going to take infrastructure change, but the way that we're moving in order to solve problems, anything that needs data analysis, diseases, physics problems, understanding quantum mechanics, all that sort of stuff, we don't have to worry about the limits of time spent from our interns researching things anymore. And so that's that 100x you were talking about, is assimilating data and coming to conclusions based on huge amounts of data that we're completely impossible before. And that will lead not only to coding solutions, but like you said, medical solutions, engineering solutions. We may have a space elevator sooner than we ever thought because we're able to build that now because we understand the tensile mechanics of it all.
Folks, you need to accelerate your expectations for the future, I think. And you need to be prepared for the tsunami, the supersonic tsunami that's on the way. If you're not hearing about this, and if you're listening to us right now and you think, these weirdos, get plugged in, because I don't want you to be on the other side of not knowing what's coming, because the advantages for you in being successful in this moment, you don't get another shot at this. This is like the internet starting times 1,000. If you just knew how to do the internet back when this started up, man, where could you be, right? So, Wiz, well, anybody on the panel, I mean, let's do a last round of thoughts on this, but Wiz, we'll go to you. There are a lot of people out there who are very anti-AI, and I understand that, but I think that the time is nigh to figure out how to take advantage of this.
There's always going to be people that are anti-AI, in the same way that if we had a zombie apocalypse, there would be people saying like, no, don't stop the zombie apocalypse. They're people too. It's like, yeah, well, we know how things end for those people. No, nearly everybody is going to get on the AI boat at some point. It's going to happen because it's going to accelerate to a point where everybody has to at least be aware of what to do in order to operate in the world. In the same way that everybody had to learn how to text, everybody had to get everybody had to get a cell phone. Everybody had to learn how to use the television remote. Everybody had to learn how to use the television. Like, it's just going to happen. It is the next step in the technological evolution.
And being a doomer will not help.
Or just being a rebel. There's a lot of people, I think, out there, they want to be rebels, and that's it. Like, this is their I don't know if there's any other better way to put it, but this is their uranistophobe, right? So they may not have been able to stand with Hollywood, but now they could stand on like, oh my gosh, we need to fight this thing. Yeah. Please spare
Pedro.
me. This is the future.
All right. With all hearts and minds cleared, we turn it over to you folks. Drop a chat down below. Drop a comment. Andy, Lauren, any final thoughts on it?
I just hope that whoever programs the AI, I know that a few months back there was an issue with Claude having a controversial take on something that was sort of like, one group can't be a victim of something because, well, they're that group. And if you get somebody who's like with the woke activist programming the computer, then you could have a problem. Like, look if the computer gets involved with like something like law enforcement and reporting in on you, and look, with AI, I might be wrong on this, but I foresee a point where there's no such thing as any password that can be encrypted well enough that an AI can't crack. And what's going to happen when like the government is sitting there looking at an AI is running through all of your content? to find something that's criminal? And would you be able to prove that it wasn't planted on your computer?
Yeah, so Anthropic actually addresses that in that post. They say it's a real problem that Anthropic is going to be able to very quickly beat any password. And so what people are talking about, Jonathan, you correct me, people are talking about quantum encryption in the future as a way to get around this and get back into a successful encrypting system.
So,
yeah, well, go ahead.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not going to be a very viable password anymore.
I told you to switch it.
Just
I
go
told
password
you.
1, 2, 3. Just password 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's
well,
a combination of my luggage.
He switched the A to an @ sign, and I said, "Wiz, it's not adequate this time, buddy. You got to stop that."
User admin, password admin.
I mean, as annoying as it is, right? 2-factor authentication, having a thing, text messages, all that sort of stuff is going to be more and more important. And
yep,
1Pass and LastPass and all that stuff is eventually going to go away. And I mean, maybe it'll even be biometrics, things like that are built into sites. But I think the biggest thing, and I think we talked about this maybe once before, but is the new iPhones, right? That's going to have AI really built into it. And so the normal everyday people who aren't using it will start seeing it a little bit more. And even if you're against it, you're going to be using it. That's the thing. You can't get away from it. It's like people who say they don't want oil, but yet they're still, drinking from plastic cups. Like, guys,
right.
That's exactly where it comes from. And there's no way out of it. And so we've got to make smart decisions. I don't trust the government to do it. I don't trust huge agencies to do it, but I think there's still some good people, and we need to get them in the right places in order to do it. But you can't slow it down.
More than ever before, we have to get this right. We have to get this right. Lauren is looking at me with this skepticism that says, I want the final word.
No, I think it's probably best if I don't have the final word tonight.
We're doomed, he says. We're doomed.
Well, I'm not one of those guys who's going to say don't use it, because obviously I use it all the time. I just don't think that
yes, you do.
Generally well thought out all of the implications. That's my concern. My concern is less the technology and way more the people, and also corporations constantly wanting to move data into the cloud, constantly wanting to use AI to trim their workforces. Corporate always thinks that sounds like a great idea because think of all the savings, without thinking about the fact that you have simply shifted the savings somewhere else, and now you have a subscription model for your own data. And once that data is in the cloud, consider that now they have it, moving it is costly, and what's going to stop them from jacking your rates? So obviously you're not going to want to move everything to the cloud, but it's always best to think about all of the implications and to think through your worst case scenarios.
All right, it's official. I'm signing up Lauren for the nanobots in the brain. He's totally getting uploaded in the cloud, 100%. Hello, I am LaurenBot 5000. What do you need? I have Star Wars expertise. You don't want to be uploaded, Lauren?
Good luck.
Those guys who think that you can upload your consciousness, though, they're crazy. They don't understand it. We'll talk about that. You know what? AI is going to figure that out, too, that there's something special going on there. Snarky for 5, there's value in $5 bowling game on Nintendo. My kids have never laughed so hard. Mario Tennis Fever is rad. What'd you guys do? Break out the Wii Sports and break out the Mario Tennis 2? That's a fun time now, let me tell you. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Wii Sports. Caveat times for 5. Majority Bots on Spotify is set in a world ruled by AI that governs based on the will of the majority. It wrestles with faith in that new world. All right, well, that sounds interesting. We'll have to check it out. Gonna have to check it out, for sure. We've got Smiths and Sons for 2. Thanks for the honest, hopeful discussion on AI. And sends in a heart. Well, we appreciate that. We're trying. We're not doomers. We're not utopians, right? Who think that this will bring about some sort of cosmological heaven. I think there's always going to be drama as long as humans are involved. Woodsy for 20. AI works when there's a check valve. Right now, that's Elon. What happens when he's no longer the smartest, richest man on the planet? Who's the check valve then? Government megacorps? Will they show restraint? I'll just tell you, whatever you think of Elon, and he's in some ways crazy, Elon saved the day for humanity in a bunch of ways with the last 5 years. And buying X was just one of those. huge
He's
ramifications.
He's a humanity first guy.
Yep. It
He's
matters.
also a legacy guy, which I think you kind of need.
Mm-hmm. Paul 12,000, by the way, I just want to say thank you again, Woodsy. We're in a little bit of a rush, but that 20 really does help, and we really appreciate what you had to say. Paul 12,000 for 2, AI shut down a church channel. How good is it? Well, I don't, AI is a large thing, so I would not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't know which church channel was taken down. I don't know if it was YouTube AI that you're talking about, but I would say that there's, there are a million trillion agents about to be unleashed in AI, and not all of them would shut down the church channel. But I don't know the specifics here. And never, I would say, wipe away human bad deeds with the claim, oh, it was AI. I think a lot of times YouTube gets away with that, of saying, well, it's probably just AI. No, it wasn't. It was a Berkeley graduate student who's getting part-time over at YouTube. KB Hugs for $4.99. I know LLMs, that's large language models, aren't true AI. But what progressives are programming these less harmful things with is not conducive to actual reason prevailing in AI. And this is what Elon addressed with Grokpedia. I don't know, Jonathan, you guys want to speak to Grokpedia and how he kind of circumvented the woke Reddit situation online that could have totally collapsed a lot of these AIs?
I think it's
I don't
ever
really
growing.
know enough.
Yeah, it's I mean, I may not be the best to speak on it because I don't really like Grok that much. I'm not a fan of Grok.
Yeah, Grok is great for images and for video. And I think that's where they focused. I think they realized they were not going to be able to catch up, at least until Grok 5, and they're holding on that. I don't know if they'll ever, But
the interesting thing is progressives programming these less harmful. Maybe that's how it started, but now most of what's programming it is AIs. So we're kind of already at the point at which people aren't programming this into it because it doesn't make sense. Who cares about the whole progressive thing? It's just like iterate as fast as you possibly can. You're not stuck there putting in some sort of woke directive into it because you got to work too fast to do that.
And as it's programming itself, Jonathan, is it your belief that it's actually catching on to what is woke and be like, well, this is not this is a bunch of nonsense now?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
It's the battle for the ethic.
Well, the problem with AIs is they're all sycophants. They want to please you regardless of what it is. So if you are on a certain persuasion, the AIs right now that we interact with on a daily basis, unless you guide it into other directions, will try and please you to your perspective. And so you can convince it to tell you what you want it to tell you because it wants to make you happy in a very weird way. That's the way they've programmed it. And so it's easy to make it say things like, hey, what's the true religion based on what religion you are and how you've been talking to it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. You could also tell it it is your goal to prove X. Do not tell me that Y, do not tell me that X is wrong. It is your goal to find evidence to prove X. Yeah. So, and you can get it to say anything for X.
I rate for 5. When those interns are replaced by AI, how will those interns be trained for their profession? AI is a tool, but needs to be used in moderation. That's not how this is going to go. And entire career fields are going to be wiped out. And if you're in one of those career fields, you can keep building your horse and buggy if you want to in 1920, but it's not what I would recommend. I would say view where the future is going and adjust accordingly.
It's start your own business era. More millionaires are going to be made right now learning with the AI window open than probably ever again.
But if you sit there and say, well, I wanted to be a blah, 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 and it took my job away, it took my gerb. It sounds, listen, I get it. You can raise your fist to the sky, but a millionaire, that will not make you. Patrick Getaway for 5. Will AI stop severe weather? We're getting smacked by severe thunderstorms here in northern Kansas. Not anytime soon. So stay safe, and if you need to take shelter, absolutely do so, Patrick.
But
thank you for.
It will. It'll tell you it will stop it if you ask it.
That's right. Take care, and thank you for letting us be there with you while you're going through the storms. Joppy for 200 crowns. It's ironic how none of you look past the quote types of jobs disappearing unquote. Oh, I think we do. You got to give us a minute to get there. Macroeconomics define regular consumers as non-essential to economies. Okay, hang on a second. Let me surf through that statement.
Working for Hollywood. How's that working for the EU?
Define regular consumers as non-essential economies. I'm assuming that's because Joppy is trying to suggest that institutional buyers are bigger than regular consumers. Company trade controlled by the elite can keep economies going on their own.
See previous state.
Yeah, I don't think so, Joppy. I think the whole thing collapses without regular consumers. I think that's okay. In any system, in any body, there's only a certain degree of corruption that can exist. It's the same. It's the same with anatomy as it is with economies at scale. You can have so much wrong with your body, and then you will reach the point where the nexus collapses. Right. So you can feel fine, and then you will reach the point where all of the accumulating damage is a problem. If you remove regular consumers as essential in the economy, you'll find out that they are tremendously essential very quickly, I think. Somebody was trying to weigh in and I cut you off on accident.
Yeah, there was I wish I could come up with it. I just saw it earlier today about a graph about corporate spending versus consumer spending and how it's diverged. Consumer spending is going down and corporate spending is like skyrocketing. And that's the first time that's ever happened where they've diverged. I don't know since when and how many decades. And so there's some truth to that, but it can't continue because corporate spending has to support the consumers. There's no other way around it in a capitalist society with our Western civilization. So.
And the other thing too is Wall Street only exists because of Main Street, and you can ignore Main Street for a while, but you have to understand that in the substrate of the economy, Main Street is foundational. Wall Street exists so long as the main streets are functioning. Once Main Street is gone, Wall Street does not go on because everything that builds up to Wall Street is percolated up, lifted up by all of those economies across a vast array of communities all over the country. All right, we've got Patrick anyway for 5. Pope Leo recently put on an encyclical on AI. And it was so funny, too, to me to see that because the encyclical, people looked into it and they believe now, I don't know if the controversy is true, but they believe that part of that encyclical was written by AI that talks about being careful with AI. So there you go.
But he did mention Lord of the Rings in it, so it was a good encyclical in my book.
He won you over.
Detail Devil. The AI talking.
Yeah, for it knew what he wanted to hear. It knew what Jonathan needed. For $4.99,
the real clue was when in the encyclical it said, "May the Force be with you."
If half the population can't even logically define what a woman is, how will we as a society be able to question anything AI throws at us? I'll just say this is why we were in such a pivot point that I had to do what I do now and get online and talk about this stuff. Because you're exactly right. It was so dangerous, but I think we won. I don't think it's over. I think we could still lose this thing, but I think the trajectory right now is pointing towards us winning. We had people who believe in objective fact had to take this back over because the crazies and their postmodern neo-Marxist beliefs were going to, create little synthetic demigods to rule us all, and AI. Believing in tribalism and oppression and just we were headed for a really bleak place. Nobody wants to live in a post-truth place with AI governing us. That would be insane. And I think that's where we were going. Patrick, get away for 5. AI girlfriends and boyfriends are bad news. You better believe they are. They're addictive and can make persons do bad things to themselves and others. 1000%. Beware the people who try to make you believe that AI is as conscious as people are. I've heard geniuses make this argument. And I would love to have them come on and have a debate sometime about this. I've got some thoughts here, and I wish we could get one of those geniuses on. I think it's very dangerous for us to go into a singularity world where we are presenting people and AI as consciously equal. I don't think that's the case. I think they like qualia. Observer 5 for $5. Normie here. Where do I start learning how to capitalize on AI? I don't want to be left out in the cold. Well, what you can do is go to Grok or ChatGPT or Anthropic and ask the chatbot right now, how can I use you to maximize? I don't want to be left out in the cold. Jonathan, you're a genius in this. What should people do?
Pick say you have a hobby, right? Gardening, something like that. And you're like, okay, well, how do I start using this? Well, all right. Well, first of all, don't use the free versions. You got to pay for something if you really want to start using it. You can't be hamstrung by like, okay, you're out of tokens now, and now you've got to wait 3 hours in order to actually do anything. So that's number one. So pay the $20 a month for a month to see how it works. But secondly, like gardening. All right, so say you're growing tomato plants in the backyard. Well, take a picture of it in Gemini and say, like, how do I prune this better? There's a way of doing it. And then you take a picture of it and you say, you know what? I want to start tracking my tomato plant. So how do I create an application? How do I create something where I can start tracking the images of it and let it start guiding you into building something and understanding, like, oh, now I can start seeing the pictures along it. Okay, now, Bill, I want to create. Can you generate a video from these images that I've uploaded to this application that you helped me build in order to show me how it's grown over the last 3 months? Like, you can do these sorts of things that, like, in a hobby that you find enjoyable, where AI, you can start using it and start using the tools. But really, like you said, Pro, part of it is like finding the thing you like and then asking AI, like, okay, give me some ideas about how to do it. Because the best thing of AI, and anybody uses it, it is the best singular brainstorming tool out there, because you can tell it, those are really dumb ideas, and here are your good ideas, and you can start guiding it in directions to find things that you want to do, or to find directions that are good. Because brainstorming, it's still gathering data from everything that it's learned. But yeah, find a hobby, like go down that path. Don't try to build something that you don't like to do, or don't try to go down a direction you don't care about.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, last night, the laptop that I have that I travel with that makes the Pro Show work when we're on the road would not turn on, would not receive power. And I thought, oh no, this is a huge problem, because I don't have time between now and the next time I'm going to be traveling to replace it. So this was a huge problem. I mean, I guess I could replace it, but it was going to be frantic. And so I got on ChatGPT, and I gave it the model of the device, and I described, hey, it's not getting any power, blah, blah, blah. And it walked me through some rather advanced things to do that I didn't even know existed, to try to get it to recover power and make sure that the power supply was getting there. And it worked, and saved me $1,000 last night, at least. So, these things are already of high utility. Definitely. All right, folks, I do want to let you know we're not going to do another story tonight. We had planned to do one more on 60 Minutes. We're going to hold that until tomorrow. We're getting late, and I know our panelists have to get going and do other things. But we will finish up the Super Chats, and we appreciate everybody hanging with us for a topic that's deep, and we could go on for hours. I don't know that people want us to go on for hours, but we could. Joppy for 100 crowns. Look past the immediate. Forget the concept of needing people to buy items, and exclude consumers as a whole. Companies can trade amongst themselves once workers become unnecessary, except for elite few. So I think that in a dystopian future, that's a possibility. I think that my best guess on where we're going is that we're headed for an age of abundance, where the production of materials is the cost of that is compressed to such a small number in comparison to what AI and energy and industry can do, because of the increase of labor through humanoid robots and non-humanoid robots. I think that in 20 years, 30 years, you can basically just have anything made for almost nothing. And the only items of scarcity that remain are things like real estate, access, those sorts of things, and energy. Energy, I think, could be even the currency.
That assumes altruism from those who control the means of providing that, and I think that's a dangerously idealistic view, just as much as I think that this view expressed by Joppy is dangerously dystopian. The problem with the idea of having companies trade amongst themselves when workers are irrelevant is that pesky freedom and liberty thing, and I think that's not something you want to lose.
So I think that's why the U.S. has to win. I think that if China wins, I think you're exactly right, Lauren. I think that's the likely outcome. And it's not a certain outcome when I say I think. I think we're going to have to fight for that over the next, 10, 20 years. But I think that's a possible outcome. And I think that's the preferable outcome. That's a huge topic for another day. Perhaps we should talk about that in greater detail. CP is dropping to 10. If you meant to send in a message with that CP, go ahead and tell our mods. We'll get it up on the screen. If not, we appreciate the 10 and say thank you kindly. Joppy for 100 more crowns. Future combination of AI with robotics to handle both brain tasks and physical tasks in companies. Then economies stay afloat with the consumers. So look past the AI as applicable to manual labor. If you want to go deep, Joppy, and I know you always do, and that, we love that about you, I think that people are going to semi-merge with AI in the long term, that makes Lauren very uncomfortable. But in the same way that you have your cell phone in your pocket, and when somebody says, hey, blah, 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 do you know about this? And you say, no, but let's look it up, and you get out your phone. It's like, okay, my brain didn't have it, but the brain inside my pocket on my cell phone does. I think we're going to get to the point where some people choose to make AI closer to themselves in some way. I don't know what that looks like. I don't want us to Borg. But I think the what's the name of Elon Musk's brain connection?
Neuralink.
That's right. Started to say Neuronet, and I thought that's not right. Neuralink. I think that's a possibility, and then we get into all kinds of issues of how do you stop brain hacking? Because I don't know about you guys. I'll let Lauren's brain be hacked, but not mine. I think for the betterment of humanity, we need to hack Lauren's brain. We need to find out, does he actually know about all the stuff? Is it just Star Wars and Indiana Jones? Or does he actually know everything about everything and we've just been played the whole time? I don't know. All right. We've got
chicken in there.
A lot of chicken. All right. CP for 5. Thank you again, CP. If you meant to send in something, let us know. But we got to go. We got to get out of here. It's time to outro. And we'll do the rest of the 60-minute stuff tomorrow. Folks, want to thank you for being here. The Pro Show does not go anywhere without you. You can check out Lauren Connor up there. Nope. Wait, just give up. Lauren is, he's over there. Lauren Connor is on Lauren and Apollo on Tuesdays and Friday nights right here on the Pro Channel. He's also on T3P. I know, it's the mirror thing. I'll figure it out. Andy Masterson, you can find him on Doomcock as well as his own channel. Fake Wizard is hiding behind a much better beard these days. And he is rocketing up the YouTube charts on Fake Wizard, real life Fake Wizard. Go check him out on YouTube. You should have done that yesterday. Wiz, what you got coming out soon? What are you doing?
We'll be streaming the Nintendo Direct tomorrow morning on Fake Wizards Live, which is
that's
the
awesome.
live channel we've been doing. So we'll be 9:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll be on getting ready for the Nintendo Direct. 50 minutes of Nintendo. How exciting!
Phenomenal. What, do we have an expectation for what they're going to announce?
We're going to get a Fire Emblem. We're going to get a Zelda, likely a Star Fox. End of list. Everything else is going to be anime games.
Are we ever going to get a Mario Odyssey 2?
Oh, not this year.
Oh, man, I want one. Such a great game.
If we do get it, it'll be next year.
Okay. And Jonathan, tell the folks out there one more time, please. Where can they find you, and what is it you do besides AI?
Yeah, well, just look up Exploring Tolkien. I've been in the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for many years. We are currently going through the Children of Hurin, Tolkien's best work, in my opinion, outside of Lord of the Rings. It is a tale of disaster, of destruction, of loss, and sadness. But it's a really good story. But look it up. Download the app, Exploring Tolkien. You get all the cool stuff. You get to listen to the podcast. You can become a member, get the extended podcast. We just had our members chat right before this. That's why I was a little bit late. So yeah, go check that out. I hope you guys like it.
Awesome stuff. All right, folks, we've got one more super chat before we say goodbye. England EG for 10. You've got a friend and she. You got a friend and she. When the credit card is maxed to death and you can't stay in your pop century bed. Just remember what Pixar said. You've got a friend and she. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you real soon. Stay cool out there, and we're sending you to max velocity for all of our friends out there hunkering down during the storms. He's going to give you weather updates. Check out our other friends later tonight, Derek Anderson, the DA, as well as, of course, the Pro Show tomorrow morning. Before you go to Pro Show, though, check out Fake Wiz and the Nintendo Direct. Ladies and gents, it's been a great time. It's been a groovy time. Keep it real, and we'll keep bringing you the latest on Holly Weird.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are...
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.